Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's going really well. I'm glad to be here this evening. Sorry I couldn't join in on the revisited show earlier this evening. Just had a few personal things going on, had to take care of, but glad to be here this evening. Glad to see so many lovely people in the chat. And you have a big fan in Mary White, who's been a member at the Leapers level for 16 months and has given you not one, not two, but three incredibly generous gifts. So we should probably get to that right away.
Okay, hold on one second. This is so strange because before it seemed like, first of all, she's a mod here and she does so much for this channel. And then there was something that before I got a message that she's now a member of Leapers. And I thought to myself, she's been a member of Leapers. That's why I was really confused by it. And now you're saying that she is a member, so maybe there was a glitch. Don't really know. A lot of strange
I've had that happen before on a channel where it's like I did like it says you're a member. All of a sudden I'm like, I've been a member for like a long time. Fascinating.
Wow. First of all, this is more than a generous gift here. Let me highlight whatever's going on here. So, I just want to show everybody. I'm going to actually screenshot it and share it here. People say that our opening is low tech. I think that somebody said. I can't remember who said.
We don't have a 15-minute long opening video like a Smash JT where he's like, I'm streaming at 10:30, and then you go and you open it up, and by sometime around 11:15 he actually starts streaming. All of that is just preview videos before that.
No, you're right. I mean, a lot of people, even if you watch like one of those flashcasts before.
Oh yeah.
Before it begins, it seems like it sure takes a long time until it starts.
Yeah,
running.
WDW Pro. I love his channel. I love his work. But you go. It's like stream is starting, and then you go and you look, and it's like 20 minutes later after all their intro videos is when the stream actually starts.
Right. You wait for half an hour, and he's like, "Well, hey, Bob Iger, he's gonna try to take over the board." And then you have like, I feel like him and Valiant. I don't think they do enough streams together anymore. Like they used to do more, but that was my favorite when it's like you hear Valiant. It's like, all right, can Nelson Peltz take over the company now, folks? Shoot that sucker out. Can Nelson Peltz take over the board? Oh, I don't know, Valiant. Can he? And that's like, they sound like cartoons. It almost sounded like Bullwinkle and I don't know what. I can't explain it. No disrespect, I like them, but I was.
Oh no, I love them both. Yeah, no, I love them both. I interact with them a bunch on like Twitter, and I catch whatever streams I can. But Mary White says, "Easy there. I'm a friend of Pro too." Yeah, no,
we like him.
We like him.
We're just
love Pro, and I love the guys he has on the channel. Yeah, I have been a supporter. I have supported the channel before I had to kind of cut back a little bit on some of the channels I was sending money to when I realized, oh my God, I'm spending as much as as much as 2 online video subscriptions in supporting people every month. It's like, maybe not.
Piggy in a onesie says, I've been meaning to join for a while because I love this stream and I appreciate that. They've joined, and that's great, and we always appreciate that. Now,
wonderful.
Just before this, I want to say no disrespect to Pro or Valiant. I don't know why in the past, like I used to just, for myself and my friends, I do like imitations of their streams, and I feel like I don't hear them stream enough anymore together, but maybe they do and I didn't notice, and I just have been missing it. But I thought that their interaction was funny in its own way, but a lot of respect for them, obviously. Then we have Mary White, who gave 20 Price of Reason live gift memberships. That in itself was generous. Like, if Mary would have done that, that would have been like super generous, period. And that's it. But then she added another 20 Price of Reason Live gift memberships, making it like a double donation. And that was already like, excessively generous. This is like super, super generous. Probably one of the most generous things that have ever happened on Price of Reason Live. But then, like that wasn't enough. It's like those infomercials that they keep lowering the price, but in this case, she just kept on giving us more gifts, which is better than the infomercial. So we have another 10 Price of Reason Live gift memberships now. I know that you're more scholarly than me, Professor, but I believe the 20 plus 20 plus 10 would be 50.
That would be 50.
In your expert opinion?
If you're using traditional, Arabic numbering systems and math, yes, that would add up to 50. Yes.
So we have 50 from Mary White. I don't recall another time that somebody has gifted in one kind of session 50 memberships. It has to be one of the most generous gifts. There have been a few generous gifts over the past few years, but this would rank up there amongst the most generous gifts. So we're so thankful. This is very, very kind of you, very nice of you, Mary. And honestly, just you being a mod here and your contribution is so appreciated anyways, that when you add this, it's just, it's like it's like I don't want to say over the top generosity because we appreciate the generosity. So over the top would suggest that I don't appreciate it, but over the top in the sense that it's wonderful.
It's
Kind of like the movie over.
incredibly generous and kind, and
It's
the
wonderful.
support is greatly appreciated. Yes,
Greatly appreciated. It's over the top is wonderful, like the movie Over the Top with Stallone, where he thumb wrestles a truck driver and managed
wrestles.
to thumb wrestles a truck driver and manages to gain custody of his son while driving a truck into some old rich guy's home. All of that in one movie. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. From the people that brought you Superman 4 and He-Man, the motion picture, the original one. From the people who brought you that, and I think like Death Wish 3 or something, they also brought you Over the Top. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh no, yeah, it was definitely a Canon production, I
It
believe.
was a
Yeah.
Canon production.
Yeah.
So Over the Top, there. Over the Top, really, like honestly, as a kid, I watched it and I still was on board for it. But even as a kid, I knew that screenplay was weak. Like even for whatever those Stallone movies were, it is extremely weak, that screenplay.
Yeah. Oh
Uh,
man. Yeah. Golan and Globus, man. They had some movies that were some of just the worst, just schlock, just crap that did amazingly well for for what they were. I mean, Over the Top was. I mean, what was his name? Is his name Lincoln Hawk?
Lincoln Hawk.
That's his name.
Right, Lincoln Hawk is his name. And then at the end, like, he gets the truck and it's Hawk and Son or something like that because he
Yeah.
got the truck. I mean, the thing is, it's like, wow, if he gets that big truck, it changes his life. I don't know.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so preposterous. But,
Yeah.
I
The
think
arm wrestling championship. I want to see a new version of Over the Top with the slapping contests. That's what I want. Instead
could
of
be
arm
funny.
wrestling, it's the guys that slap each other really hard. So, yeah.
Don't you ever disrespect the Death Wish movies, says Caleb Levine. I'm not disrespecting anything. I'm going to tell you this. Those Canon guys, you could say whatever you want about them, but there's a certain element of fun to their movies, maybe because like the quality assurance there is so low that like the idea is we got to make this movie. Like they first of all need to make the movie. The movie needs to get done, and at least they're enthusiastic about that. There's a certain charm to them, even if they are silly. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's hard not to watch one of their productions and at least be mildly entertained by something there. Even if you're sitting there thinking like giggling that it's kind of silly, there's at least you're giggling,
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's super 80s, like it's just super of its time 80s campy and I don't know. There's still some gems in there.
Oh yes, there are absolutely.
The thumb wrestling, yeah. Let me think for a second. Wasn't Bloodsport also canon for some reason, I think?
Was it?
It seems like it would be because it just seems like only they could make that movie. Uh, Canon Films, absolutely.
Yep.
It had to be. See, that's the thing, that sometimes you could just think of a movie, you think of that feeling you had when you saw it, and you're like, "Darn it, it has to be a canon movie."
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like, Bloodsport is so preposterous. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like the movie. It is so preposterous, that movie. But you know what the charm is? They got that movie done somewhere between 1.5 to $2.3 million, and it made $50 million. And when
Oh
you
yeah.
adjust for inflation, probably significantly higher. I mean, they were, if nothing else, they thought to themselves, let's make like simple, fun movies that aren't too expensive, and maybe some people will like it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They had they had a lot of movies that they did that were very, those, manly, big bulked up guys in fights. They did a lot of the action, just sort of cheap, low budget action films. They made other fascinating movies as well, like The Happy Hooker Goes to Hollywood.
There were a lot of strange movies there, but
Uh, and anyone in the chat that's familiar with bad movies, The Apple. Oh my God, what a terrible movie! The Apple.
The Apple, I
That's
don't
one
even
of those.
remember that
That's
one.
one of those so bad it's good kind of films. The Apple. Yeah.
I think that Bloodsport is brilliant. That's a
Oh no,
brilliant.
Bloodsport's solid. That's a great film.
It's
I
great.
mean, it's wild. It's over the top, and it's great. The
It is
Death Wish
absolute.
films, same thing. Yeah.
I mean, I think that was their thing. Their movies were like, you want to call them B movies or whatever it is, but like with a lot of fun in there.
Yeah.
For the relatively low budgets that they sometimes had, at least they brought some kind of fun to the movie. That's all I can say. And yeah, I like Death Wish. I like Bloodsport. I think maybe there were a few other ones.
There's they had a whole series of ninja films that were all very popular. The ninja. I remember there was was it called American Ninja? What is it? Revenge of the Ninja.
Maybe American
Uh,
Ninja.
yeah, I think there was American Ninja, Enter the Ninja.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a bunch of these ninja films that they made, and then they started making films. There was a few films they made with Chuck Norris, like Invasion USA. Uh, there's a
American
couple
Ninja.
of
This is what it
yeah,
is.
there's a couple of solid, fun action films in there, like King Solomon's Mines was one that was
Yeah, they were trying to do an Indiana Jones type of movie.
yes,
I've
and
only watched
it's
that
not
movie
bad.
once. I only watched that movie once. Now the thing is, this is many years ago, and I think that I was like totally an Indiana Jones guy. And somebody was like, "Did you see King Solomon's Mine?" And I'm like, "No." And I think that I was at a friend's house. And I was a kid, and they put this on this King Solomon Mine thing. I don't remember it because it was the only time I'd ever seen it, but I do remember that I kind of enjoyed it. Like I didn't hate the movie from what I remember as a kid, at least.
Yeah, no, I mean, for considering how much lower budget it had, it didn't have any big stars in it, right? It was led by
Doesn't have
Richard.
Spielberg
Well, Richard
directing.
Chamberlain was in it, and of course, it was also funny because it had John Rhys Davies in it. It was also in Indiana Jones.
True,
But
yeah, I almost
it
forgot
was
about
they
that.
remember the hero of that was Alan Quartermain, right? And so then they did later on they did Alan Quartermain and the Legendary Cities of Gold, or Alan Quartermain and the City of Gold, something like that. That was a follow up to that. Not as good. I didn't think it was as fun as King Solomon's Mines, but yeah, they were trying to make a adventure franchise in the same way that we had Indiana Jones. They one of the crazy things that to know about canon, and there's actually some documentaries out there that have been made about canon and the way that they made movies. Price, they would literally go to like groups of people. They would go to potential investors, or they would go to like some of these shows, where they like upfronts, where they go and they're like, here's the movies we're making, give us money. and they would tell people about movies they were making that they had not written page one. They didn't have a writer, they didn't have a director, that they had like an idea for a movie. Sometimes made up off the top of their heads.
And sometimes without any actor attached with nothing. They just
nothing attached. And it would just be like, oh, we're making this. Oh, yeah, oh, we've got this coming up. Yeah, we're going to be making another American Ninja. Yeah, we're...
they were total...
And then, of course... They made yeah.
Sorry,
go ahead. Sorry,
no.
Okay. It was, of course, then later as things started to fall apart a little for the studio, they ended up making Masters of the Universe and Superman 4: The Quest for Peace, and then they were making Superman 4, and they were like trying to get money, and then they started making. They're like, no, actually, we used up the money. Why did they use up the money? Well, because they shifted a bunch of it over to
bonkers
to make Masters of the Universe, and then Master of the Universe, they said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're out of money," and so they had to ask for more money from.
So crazy.
I mean, it was bananas. Everything that they did was just wild, and there's some hilarious stories from them and what they made.
They were fake it till you make it type of people.
Very much so.
And I think doing Superman 4 and He-Man at the same time, they bit off more than they can chew. I feel like that was their downfall, that they tried to take that additional step when they left that realm of just doing a few like cheapo things where it like you said, like we were looking at these kind of silly cheaper movies. When they were trying to do more like franchise work like Superman and Masters of the Universe, I feel like that was it. They took that step too far. Do you get what I mean? Like they weren't able to manage, certainly not both of them at the same time. For them to want to do Superman 4 and He-Man at the same time was kind of bonkers for this studio if you really think about it and the way it operates.
Yeah, it really was ridiculous. Yeah. And a lot of their stuff back in the day, of course, a lot of it ended up going straight to video. They were one of the big straight to video companies for quite some time, but they did put a lot of stuff in theaters too. And then they also for some time they also had people they worked with home box office HBO to get films licensed for home video release. So I think I have a videotape here somewhere with it. It's listed as an HBO Canon home video release. I can't remember.
Listen, they were decent business people, considering that they just like flew by the seat of their pants. They weren't exactly like Spielberg and Lucas, and they were just kind of winging it. Relatively speaking, they managed to hustle their way much further than you'd think that they would have been able to. And it got sticky at the end, and they got into some trouble, I think. But ultimately, nothing really bad happened to them. They managed to weasel their way out of it. And, the only thing is, I think they lost their studio, but it is what it is.
Yeah, eventually things did, late 80s, things kind of fell apart for them. And
by the way, I haven't seen this guy in a while, which is... Arturo Alejandro Trevino says the thing is that those movies were made very cheap way back then. And yes, they were. Nice to see you again. I feel like I haven't seen you in a long time, unless I didn't notice. This is a name of a guy that I used to see here, but I just feel like I haven't seen it in a long time. Just interesting. But nice to see you again.
Yes, good to see you, Arturo.
And I even think I pronounced his name rather decently as well. In any case, so we were talking about...
There was stuff.
Final thing I'll say is, that if they didn't mess up that whole Superman and He-Man and whatever it is, they may have still been able, like, you think of Sony and Fox and all those people that held on to movie rights of, like, comic book characters. Maybe had they not gone under, they would have actually been the ones that could make movies for He-Man and for Superman, if you think about it.
Yeah, and they were definitely interested in licensing, that kind of stuff. This, again, the thing was for them, it was always wildly low budgets for these things, small, generally, less well-known actors in the stuff that they got. Occasionally there would be better actors, but yeah, they were all about keeping the budgets low, and but here was the thing, that they knew what their audience wanted. Most of the time they were all about like, yeah, oh, we need hot women in our movies. We need, buff dudes. We're gonna have, we want to make entertainment. We want to make things that people want to see. They want to come watch it, and we don't have enough of that in Hollywood today.
They were more in
They
touch with what
Yeah,
their audiences wanted than, let's say, all of those kind of focus groups today, that like all those executives that sit around and do like 70 screenings and ask people all these questions. You didn't have to ask anything. It's like you said, they had a very simple creed. Men that went to the gym that are full of testosterone and want to beat people up, women that are super hot walking around, and cool things like blowing up and action and fighting, and that's it. That was their philosophy. They somehow managed to like juggle things around it so that the story seems somewhat plausible, but as long as they could have enough action, fighting, testosterone, and hot ladies, that's it. That was their formula. And
there
I
you
will
go.
still argue that I think that the second they went into more like Superman and Masters of the Universe, they it was outside of their comfort zone, both creatively and also, I would say, like, financially. You know what I mean? The idea of
Mhm.
taking a risk on a low budget thing and then just having some fun and getting a kind of B movie type of feeling where there was still an audience that wanted that kind of fun, into trying to like become more legit. That leap into more legit meant that they had to spend more money. It doesn't surprise me that like Superman and He-Man, whatever, fell apart, because it was too much for them. Do you get what I'm saying? Like sometimes people, they're good at
Absolutely.
one certain thing, and maybe they're at some point there's some stuff they're not good at.
Yep, it was just too much. It was more than they could
Too
handle.
much. That's a good way to describe it. Speaking of too much, Spider-Man: Brand New Day.
Yeah.
The tickets went on sale, and apparently they did a huge amount of pre-sales, like the kind that for the past 5 years hasn't been seen, or something like that. Did you see that?
Yeah, the state tickets have been selling really well. Yeah. Did you have an article or something you wanted to share? Or yeah,
Yeah, I
because
did have something.
the say it's been selling really well. And honestly, I'm not surprised. If there's going to be a Marvel film that is going to have people excited, it is going to be Spider-Man. First of all, very popular character. Outside of the movies, outside of everything, Spider-Man is one of the top 5, most popular superhero characters worldwide. He's beloved. On top of that, the Marvel films, the MCU films with Tom Holland, have been largely very good. They've been enjoyed by a lot of people. They've done really well. If you look at the Phase 4 and 5, which were an absolute disaster for Marvel, what were the movies that did well? Well, there were a couple of major sequels, like Guardians of the Galaxy 3 did really well, but it was Spider-Man. The 2 Spider-Man films post Endgame did incredibly well. They brought out a big audience. So I am not surprised at all that they're getting a big audience for this film. There's a lot of people interested in seeing it. Is it going to live up to the hype? I don't know. I hope it's a really enjoyable film. I really do. I hope it's a lot of fun. I didn't love the last one as much as some people did. I thought it had a lot of added, I mean, there was the novelty of getting the previous Spider-Mans in there. I get why people enjoyed that. I enjoyed it for what it was. Story-wise, I didn't love the last movie, but I understand why it was so popular and why so many people enjoyed it. But the yeah, the Spider-Man films have largely been very well received. So if there is one movie that's gonna get in the MCU that's gonna get a lot of excitement, then that's gonna be the one. And personally, I don't know about you, Price, but I see some warning signs in this one that maybe there might be some issues, but I'm still hoping it's gonna be good.
I'll tell you what, there's certainly with Disney, you always have to think of some warning signs. So you can never be that excited. But I will say this, nobody is going to claim that this thing isn't going to make money. I think that this thing, just with having the kind of pre-sales that it has, and the opening weekend, whatever is happening, it's going to be huge. This movie, even if it's just okay, it's still going to make a lot of money. It does help. If people actually see this movie and it's good, forget about it. Like, this is gonna make a ton of money.
Yeah.
You can talk about superhero fatigue all you want, but I think that when it comes to Spider-Man, there will pretty much most of the time there's an audience for it. Unless you've really, really disrespected your audience, if it's even a pretty decent movie, and they can just, move things along, there's gonna be some people excited to see it. And, there's no doubt about it that this thing, is on the right track to be a hit right out the gate. And
Hmm.
and the thing is, I don't know if you're aware, but, Amazon, they gave something where if you have Prime, you can see an early screening of it. Did you see this?
Yeah.
Uh, so basically, I didn't know when it started, and suddenly on my phone, I got a message, and I saw that this happened, and I quickly went. There's a theater not far from where I live. I quickly went in, and I chose like not even great seats. I really wanted better seats, but I chose whatever I could. And then I said to myself, I don't really like these seats. Maybe I'll find a different whatever. And I accidentally went back, and you know what I noticed? That the other seats that were there were already gone.
Yeah.
So, I just said to myself, "You know what? I have 2 seats. I would have wanted them to be more in the middle or in back or whatever it is, but screw that. I have my tickets to see it. I'm gonna see, like, an early screening." So those, like, flew off the shelves like hotcakes. But even ticket sales just to go to the movie itself, also flying like hotcakes for opening day, opening weekend and all that other stuff. You know what's having the absolutely opposite effect right now?
What's that?
Supergirl.
Oh, yes.
Supergirl, I'm telling you, has, like, an early screening where you can see it, I think, earlier or something like that. There's no takers for it. I think the only people that are gonna be takers for that are probably YouTubers that'll be like, "Oh, like, I'll go see it early," but, like, most other people, like, couldn't care less.
Yeah.
There's no demand for it. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Hmm.
They wanted that kind of celebration, whatever's happening with Spider-Man, but they're getting the exact opposite. Whereas Spider-Man, everybody's excited to see it. Supergirl, people couldn't care less. There's like apathy with this whole Supergirl situation. And i- first of all, there's so many bad decisions here. For starters, her introduction in that Superman movie was terrible. You introduced her as some drunk dum dum. I don't think that anybody liked that. It's based on a comic book that most people don't like. I'll be honest. I have to be honest. I didn't read it, but people that I know that do read comics don't like it. That's all I can say. So it's not like it was extremely popular. They're basing that on that. James Gunn with his quirky Guardians of the Galaxy weird stuff, it's all going in the wrong direction. And then like the cherry on the icing is that they hired this Millie Alcock girl who I'm not saying that she's necessarily a bad actress, but man, they needed to do some kind of training where she shuts the fuck up and doesn't talk to anybody, and
She yeah.
she
She
just
needs
says
some media training like like nobody
it,
else.
it it's
It's
funny to
bad.
me that these studios don't think that they need to do that before you film your stupid movie, before you film your crappy movie. When the person signs a contract with you, especially one like Millie Alcock, she's like, "Oh, I did House of the Dragon." You did the first season of House of the Dragon, where you were in the first 4 episodes, then there was a time jump and you were no longer on the show. Now, I'll give her credit. In those 4 episodes, I thought she was good in it. You know what I mean? I thought she was good in those 4 episodes. Did I think she was good in the way that I thought that she would carry a franchise on her own? Not really. I thought she was alright, but I didn't, you know it's not that I was sitting around and thinking about her all day and all night like for Supergirl or for anything else. She seemed like a quirky, like, she could have done something, but I don't know. Didn't really envision her for Supergirl. I actually, I kind of think that Supergirl should be, super hot. That's just my personal opinion. Yeah, you could claim that, from a certain perspective, she's like I dare say maybe cute in some angles, maybe, but like I don't know. She's not. She doesn't look like somebody I would cast as Supergirl.
Let's say that they could have given her a look and a costume that was more flattering and perhaps would be more interesting to people, who might want to watch, right? They chose not to do that. I'm not going to, specifically say I think she's ugly, and I don't think that. I'm not going to say that.
They don't do her any favors with
But
the
they're
way
not
they make
doing
her
her
look.
any favor. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're not doing her any favors with her being a drunk and looking like a mess in all the trailers of the first. It's not helping, right?
I'll tell you, she's kind of like quirky cute. She's not like drop dead gorgeous. At least lean into whatever she is and try to present her in the best possible way. Instead, like they give her this kind of, we've had these conversations before here that I think in the past Hollywood would say, okay, we're making a movie and this actress is cute. Let's elevate her with the right hair and the right makeup and the right clothing and the right setup. Somebody like an actress that looks good will make her look great. And then if like if she looks great, they'll make her look like glamorous. You know what I mean? There's always an upgrade. Now in our day and age, it's a downgrade. You look great, you're going to look good. You look good, you're going to look mediocre. You look mediocre, you're going to look terrible. It's like they always have to take you down a few notches. They're not elevating you, they're lowering you. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yep, that's how it goes. And we got a gift from Nerd Wars.
Let me see right now.
Yes, thank you, Erwin.
This is very nice
kind.
of you, Erwin. Let me see for a second. I want to highlight this right now. And this is in addition to Mary White's fantastic contribution. Erwin is, of course, a friend also. I join him on streams on his channel from time to time. Was there even earlier today. It was a fun time. Erwin, thank you very much. Sent 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships. Gifted people here with 5. Hey, nice to see you here. Really cool. And yeah, we were hanging out on his channel earlier today with Badger, and yeah, it was always a fun time with those guys. We always have some interesting conversations, and Erwin has a lot of kind of tinfoil ideas. I don't know if that's a term. I don't know how else to describe him. He is a quirky guy with a lot of tinfoil stuff, but somehow he has his own kind of. You kind of like him anyways, you know. No, I'm just kidding. He's all right. People are thinking like this guy gave him 5 gift memberships. If those are his friends, hate to see his enemies. But no, I'm just kidding. I like Erwin, and I'm always thankful. The good kind of tinfoil ideas. Yes, you have the best tinfoil ideas. Sometimes I don't even understand what he's talking about. He goes off about something, and I'm like, do I even know what this tinfoil thing is? But he's very passionate about his tinfoil. And sometimes he on stream he like takes a Baby Yoda doll and beats it up. That's also happened frequently or many times that I've been on stream. I don't really mind that much because Baby Yoda, think people are kind of sick of him. Anyhow, thank you very much for the 5 gift memberships. We really appreciate that. We also have you were right about Peter Thiel. I know very little about that guy. I anytime anybody mentions him, there's always something that like doesn't sound great when somebody brings him up to me, but I don't really know much about him. I know that he's like a tech bro guy. I thought for some reason that he was one of those guys that was like backing JD Vance, but I don't remember now. I thought that Professor was there something about Peter Thiel backing JD?
Thiel has been behind a few different conservative candidates over the years. I don't know specifically anything about him backing JD Vance, but Yeah, Teal has definitely moved more conservative. You know, some people in tech have done, right? Again, I think Teal would be one to tell you, like a lot of people on the left, especially people in higher tech and stuff like that, that he didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left him. That kind of a situation. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know specifically some of the different people that he's
I don't know. I've heard,
supported.
I rarely hear anybody say anything good about him, even though he seemingly did some things that were good, but I guess nobody likes him. I don't really know. I do a little politics in between Grogu beatings. Well, that's good to know. Anyhow, always great to see you here. And you also send some raids. Oh, Master of the TDS. Wow. Haven't seen you here in a while. Uh, Master of the TDS is also, he's been here for a long time in our circles. He's a really good guy. And we even had a stream with him here at some point.
Yeah, he's been here at least once.
At least once. I'm thinking possibly twice, but at least once a long time back in the day, and was fun seeing him here. So yeah, he does a lot of cool stuff. He's been on top of exposing a lot of these gaming companies, especially all that Sweet Baby Inc. stuff. He was very
Yeah.
much early on, on top of all of that and all
Oh,
these kind of bots.
and boy, are those companies paying the price now, buddy. I don't know how much of that news you've seen in the last few days, but oh man. Xbox shutting down studios, laying off people left and right, canceling titles. Just crazy. And right now the biggest the biggest assumption is that they're getting the Xbox brand at Microsoft ready to sell off. So it's not going well for a lot of these companies, and then the same with Sony losing all sorts of money, losing all these titles that are falling apart. Did you hear about the new Wolverine game? It's going to be made by the same people who made the Spider-Man game, Insomniac, and they've decided they can't. They shoved a bunch of gay agenda stuff into the most recent Spider-Man game, and then that was a Sweet Baby Inc. thing. So now the Wolverine game is coming, and they keep showing all this footage. Oh, he's so bloody and violent and all this stuff, and then you find out that like all of the women are just like these square-jawed, ugly creatures like they've been doing in all of video games, right? Just uglifying every single woman in the game. And they're not the X-Men because that would be sexist. So I believe they went with Team X or Task Force X or something like that instead. And it's just like, oh my God.
By the way,
Really?
Master of the TDS says, "Yep, I'm sorry. I'm usually so busy, so I lurk and don't say anything." I think this stream has some of the best lurkers ever.
We have amazing lurkers.
Like there was once, it happened in recent months that I just said something about Robot Head. Immediately, like he responds, and it's like, you've been hanging out all this time, you didn't say anything, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like you have to address the person for him to come out of hiding and drop a message. But I love that. I love that people are sort of, maybe we're a guilty pleasure, Professor. People are like, I want to listen to this, but I prefer that nobody find out that I listen to this to this stream. It's hard to explain also. Somebody says, well, what is this stream? What is it? Oh, it's a puppet that talks to a robot in the middle of the night. I think that most people, it would be a tough sell if you don't really know what this is. Even if you do know what it is, it's a tough sell. But if you try to explain this show to somebody else, especially like, think if you're on a date with a woman and she's like, well, what do you like to listen to? I like to listen to, I don't know what, Amy Poehler. And then you're like, in the middle of the night, I like to listen to these two assholes. Sorry, Sean. That's basically what the Night Owl is. But we appreciate the people that hang out with us here.
Yep. Yeah, I looked and I looked it up real quick because I was like, what was the name of it? Yeah, it's instead of the X-Men, it's Team X. Please.
Master of the TDS says X Team was a mercenary group in the comics. Why they chose that, no idea.
No idea. Yeah, it was a Team X Team. It was a mercenary group that was run by the government, and yeah, it's like why? It's because they don't care. And then I found out that like the playtime for this is going to be like $70 game, and the playtime on it is like 18 hours. $70 for an 18-hour game. Unbelievable.
Well, we went all over the place here, but first of all,
so many wonderful people joining us in the chat. It's great to see all you here. Good to see you, TDS. Good to see you there. Nerd Wars.
I feel like Nerd Wars has gone back into hiding, but he was here and he did do his thing. So always appreciate that. And yeah, I of course I would invite these people, but I think that they kind of enjoy their nighttime. Listen, if they're lurkers, I'm happy with it. I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but obviously, I hope at some point we see, we see people like them here. We're so good at booking guests. We're like
one
the
of
best
these
at
booking guests.
Booking guests.
That's us, man. We're always out there looking for people, booking all the best guests.
Booking all the best guests. The most we do is that like if Istophobos has the weirdest idea, like that he comes on and tells us what it is. That's like our roster of like of talent. We have like Istophobos show up and talk to us about something weird, or I haven't seen Mark D with a C in a while. I hope he's okay. I feel like he vanished.
He's just busy. So, and a lot of times he does just listen in.
So yeah, he's gone from like more active listener to lurker. But Mark D with a C is the Phobos Mega Geek. That's like really our main roster of talent. On very special occasions, like Robot Head has been here. But that that doesn't happen every second.
I haven't been seeing much from Robot Head recently either.
I hope everything's okay with him. I hope he's listening
busy
to the stream because I actually
I've seen one or two videos from him, but yeah, output's been fairly slow from his channel.
I feel like he hasn't, at least in a number of weeks, and I did DM him. I don't know. I hope everything's okay. But Master of the TDS says, feel free to invite me sometime. I'll make time, provided it's in advance, because my schedule is a bit up in the air. Private practice is really picking up lately. That's good. That's good to hear. I'm happy that you're doing well both online and offline. And absolutely, I think that it would be great sometime to do that because we haven't done that. And yeah, Nerd Wars, I would have sent him an invite, but I think he's vanished as well. I also, like I said, I don't want, it's late at night. Some people, for a while, Vex Electronica, I don't know if she still does, but Vex Electronica would put this on so she could fall asleep. Like, she enjoyed falling asleep to me talking or something like that. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along those lines. Although now I feel like she doesn't even enjoy doing that. I haven't seen her here in a while, unless she lurks and doesn't say anything. Brian Norton 8945 says, I missed the Trigger Warning show. Yeah, that was a good show. And I think that we're going to be seeing more of it. Robot Head is a very mysterious guy. And I think that in kind of outside of his online persona and life, he has other things he does kind of in the outside world. Sometimes I think he enters periods that he's very busy, or at least it's been that way in the past. And he kind of just vanishes and then pops up again. And I'm hoping we see him back sooner rather than later. And yeah, it'll be fun to do some streams with him. So, how did we get to all these weird things?
Oh, I don't know, Price.
Master of the TDS, I always tell people you never know who is watching your streams. That's absolutely true.
Yep.
But I feel like, probably the people that watch this stream right now are the most like suspicious personalities you could find like in a late night setting.
There's talent scouts out there watching. They're looking for new people to invite on their streams. Bryce, that's what it is.
That's what it is. And one thing I know, all the ladies at night love to listen to this channel. This stream. This is exactly what they love. Like, women love hearing dudes talk about
Indeed.
like dude stuff and kind of act like
Talking
douches.
about dudes.
They love that, from what I've been told. Anyhow,
Yeah.
uh,
So, how did we get here, Price?
how did we get here? Still working nights. I get to
Yep.
watch another live show. Thank you.
Yep. Very
Uh,
cool.
okay, so
Yep. Well, we were talking a bit about Spider-Man and how well that was doing, and then we were talking about Supergirl and how poorly
it
that
is
is
doing
doing.
so poorly. Let me see if it seems ticket sales. Let's see if it says something. You know, something's really strange. Um, I'm inside like Google News, and it won't show me the news. Just it doesn't make any
It
sense. But
says
that's
no, no bueno.
no. Here, I'll show you. Share this tab instead. I put in Supergirl ticket sales news. And even if it's personalized or not, your Supergirl ticket sales did not match any news results. It's just strange. It's like, what else? Of course, it matches results. What am I going to do? If there's something wrong with Google, what else do we have? They closed Ask Jeeves. What's considered like a good search engine?
Well, besides Google,
Yes. What's considered what? DuckDuckGo.
yeah, I
What?
use DuckDuckGo most of the time because it's private.
Can't even find DuckDuckGo. Okay. Okay. So let me see. Supergirl. I can't take a service called DuckDuckGo seriously. Okay. Supergirl, why are they not are they all keeping it like quiet? So basically also there's been shills. You know that there's the early shill
Yeah,
reviews. So
yeah.
they say
Well, go ahead.
Supergirl soars and first remember when they did Superman soars, now they're doing Supergirl
Oh,
soars.
that's always they always do that.
In
Oh,
first reaction,
soaring.
Jason Momoa was born to play Lobo. Yeah, it's not his movie. He was kind of added late in the game and they kept filming more and more with him apparently. It's not like, it's not like this was a Lobo movie. If this had been a Lobo movie, you could make an argument, but is Supergirl going to fly? The first wave of social media reactions from the blah, blah, blah. And then let's see what they say. Mike Ryan, Supergirl is not at all what I was expecting. I too assumed superhero space movie with needle drops would have a similar tone to Guardians of the Galaxy or even Superman. Instead, it looks and plays more like a Mad Max movie with dirty worlds, gross villains, and a self-destructive hero. I don't know. I mean, did I want Supergirl to be Mad Max? Not really. Like, I don't think that that's what it needs to be. Do you get what I'm saying, Professor?
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, even the recent Mad Max movies aren't Mad Max movies.
Right, and they tried a woman with the Mad Max thing, and that didn't work well. Gizmodo. Gizmodo's Germain Lucier. I think, at least, he's one of the people in Gizmodo. Supergirl is highly enjoyable. It doesn't quite have the resonance of Superman, but it acts as both perfect companion and follow-up to that movie with better characters and more complex relationships. It's also incredibly emotional, which makes the action hit even harder. All of this sounds like a bunch of nonsense. I'm sorry. This is like the very definition of a fluff thing. Also, it's saying basically, I enjoyed Supergirl, but it wasn't even as good as Superman, and we all know that Superman wasn't really a good movie. So if this is less than Superman, this is not really selling me here.
Yeah. That's not good.
Supergirl is the superhero movie I missed. A straightforward, poignant story with lots of emotion, especially when we see Kara go through little Ruthie's eyes. Luckily, that's every action scene. Millie Alcock absolutely owns the role and will change our idea of Supergirl forever. This feels very, very suspicious to me, Professor. I don't believe one word. The Mary Sue. Like, I have zero faith in Mary Sue. Supergirl is everything I wanted it to be. Girls can be messy, and that rules. Kara isn't her cousin, and I really loved how this movie makes that clear. She's a different kind of hero and perfect in every way.
Hmm.
Like Mary Sue,
Okay.
when they say something, that's like you have to take into consideration that whatever they're saying, it's the opposite. You know what I mean? Like whatever they're saying, interpret it as something that you wouldn't like. Cinex Express. Supergirl is a solid follow up to last summer's Superman. Again, they're all saying like at best either it's as good as Superman or not as good as Superman. More serious and emotionally heavier in tone, delivers a cool intergalactic road trip that evokes Guardians of the Galaxy with a dash of Mad Max Fury Road and a bit of Thor the Dark World. I wouldn't really be excited. None of this is sounding good to me.
Wow, Thor. We're gonna say, oh, look, hey, it's Thor: The Dark World, folks. Get over here and watch Thor.
The Dark World is like the only thing that could have been worse about than saying Dark World than if they would have said that it was Love and Thunder. If
Yeah,
they would have said that it's like a,
nice
it's
touch of Love and Thunder.
right. If they would have said Love and Thunder, it would have been worse than the Dark World, but really not in a good place. Millie Alcock is a total badass, delivering a performance that was fierce and vulnerable as Kara Zor-El. Can't wait to see her in future interactions with her cousin and other heroes in the DCU. Keep them coming. Yeah, I don't think they're going to be coming. That Hollywood show, Supergirl soars. They sorry, Sean, in advance. Can they fucking find another metaphor or whatever within the Supergirl soars? It's a metaphor, right? It's not an
Yes.
analogy. It's a metaphor, right? Supergirl soars. That
Yeah, play on words, kind of as well. Yeah.
I guess. They all sound the same to me. What would have been a metaphor? It's not a metaphor. It's just a wordplay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just
Oh,
wordplay.
okay. Anyhow, uh,
Anyhow. No.
Millie Alcock is the perfect Kara. This film is filled with the gorgeous set pieces and dazzling action sequences. Momoa is Lobo, but I wanted more of him. The scenes with Clark are priceless. Third act is effing fun. The future is bright with Supergirl. Yeah, I don't think that it's bright, and all of this sounds weird to me. The thing with like Superman is the and Clark scenes or whatever it is, they really shoved that in there late in the game to try to balance this movie out in some way. Lobo, they kept filming more and more of him to try to like, lower like minimize the damage with her. This doesn't sound good to me, this
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
situation.
I mean, we know we've already heard the stories about what they cut 25 minutes out of the film, and then added more Superman and more Lobo. Like these are not things that you do a week before a movie comes out, 2 weeks before a
No.
movie comes out. If that movie is solid, right? They are desperate to try and rescue this film.
I've never seen something more like I have, but I mean, this is like when you think of those type of movies, like those kind of Marvels and I don't know what, and Captain Falcon, Rise of Skywalker, that they keep filming over and over again and playing around with it, hoping to somehow save it. Uh, the AU review, Supergirl channels the energy of Gunn's Superman. Already not a plus here. While carving out its own identity, surprisingly dark themes, Mad Max vibes, and a John Wick style motivation drive the story. Millie Alcock shines, and Jason Momoa brings his trademark chaotic charm. I don't know. I mean,
These all feel very samey, almost like someone told them what to
yeah,
write.
yeah. We often see this that once you have all these access media shows that get invited to a screening, they usually there's a few things we keep seeing as a pattern. They walk out, they love the movie, and they love the exact same things about the movie. They all of them want to mention something like a Mad Max. They all of them want to say that Millie Alcock is the best thing that ever happened. Lobo, like great to see him as well. They're all very, very similar, like you said. And I can't help but feel, see, sometimes it's hard for me to say. Either they're a bunch of conformists that just stand outside the theater and say the same thing to each other download the same things from each other and say the same nonsense later, or if more nefarious, they actually get like guided by what they want people to say. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
they're either getting guidance or they're stupid conformists, but either or, I can't take them seriously. Do you get what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah.
Like the reason the reason why they're so stupid doesn't really matter here if they're stupid. I don't know if that I explained that well, but I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they're so dumb that it could be natural, like au natural, that they're stupid, or somebody just gave them a piece of paper and then they said the stupid things that was written on the paper. It could be either or. I'm 50-50 on it, you know?
Fair enough. Yep.
Fair enough. Then we have the direct. Millie Alcock is a Kryptonian powerhouse and the perfect Kara Zor-El. The film has a strong heart, giving an interesting and complex character journey for Kara. Jason Momoa is clearly born to play Lobo, and the DCU is only better with those two in it now. And who even talks like that, Professor? When we ever talk about something, do we sound this stupid? You know what I mean? Like
No.
I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed to write that. Even if I liked the movie, I'd be embarrassed to write that. Like I just write, "Hey, I think she did a good job. Like she did this, she did that." Instead, they're like, "Yeah, she rocks. She rocks. She's so great. You go, girl. She's the ultimate Kryptonian. Yeah,
She's a
like
powerhouse.
powerhouse. She really steps into the role and shows you what a
Yeah.
powerhouse she is."
I can't listen to any of that without like hearing it in a lisp, you know? She's such a
Right.
powerhouse.
Such a
You know?
powerhouse. You can hear this kind of how should I say it? I wanna be careful with my words here. I usually hear it in a very flamboyant voice in my head, if you know what I mean. It's either a woman or if it's a man, but this man is very flamboyant, if you know what I mean.
Indeed.
Flamboyant and with a lisp. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know what I'm trying to say. Uh, Geeks of color. I don't know why, just the fact that they're called geeks of color already, like I haven't heard one word yet. Already they've set the tone. They've set the tone here with geeks of color. Am I right?
And yes, yes.
Okay. uh Supergirls, again, and just to be clear, I don't care if they're geeks of color. It's just that if you have to call yourself that, and you basically are saying we want you to pay attention to us. This is our hook. I don't really love that. You know what I mean?
Yes. If the most interesting thing about you is how much melanin you have,
Right, exactly. It's like
that's not a great, yeah,
somebody sat and thought, like,
opening line.
how do we get noticed? How do we say something that'll be like cool with those studios and whatever? And then you have like, allegedly those studios looking at it, they're like geeks of color. It could be like a person living in a toilet bowl, but they'll be like geeks of color. Bring that person to the premiere right away. So
Yep.
I guess in their own way, they managed to game the system
An
with their
absolute grift. Yeah.
absolute grip. Supergirl is the best blockbuster of the summer. Terrific action, but what sells it is the heart and the characters. The other use the heart thing as well. Millie Alcock is a force to be reckoned with. Eve Ridley is also incredible, and Jason Momoa is pitch perfect as Lobo. One of the best DC films. I don't trust these people. I don't
One of
trust
the
them.
best DC films. How many DC films have there been since James Gunn took over?
Chamalama says, is this you could do it, Professor. You could do this voice of this guy.
Is this the gayest Supergirl ever? Yes, yes, it is.
I just needed that guy to show up on the red carpet. And actually some other lady showed up and asked if it was for like, queer or whatever it is, and Amelia Alcock answered that. So
Did you know that Supergirl is like a gay icon, a queer icon now? Yeah.
oh, I'm so honored by it. I love it. I myself have so many friends from that community. Or whatever she was saying. She's so stupid. Okay. Who let us out? I don't even know what that means. Supergirl starts off a slow burn, but once it finds its footing, it soars.
Soars.
Stop saying that already. Stop fucking saying it. They already did it with Superman. It is so lame. Just say something else. It is so cringy that you're saying it soars. It's already like a pet peeve of mine, Professor. Millie Alcock is incredibly relatable, bringing heart, and again heart, again this bullshit. Vulnerability. Somebody said vulnerability in another one. And strength to Kara's journey of embracing her imperfections and discovering the power within. Always with a woman, it's like you have to appreciate who you are, yo. It's like always when it's the guys, they don't get all of that leeway. You know what I mean? Oh, it's a girl. Obviously, it's messy. She has to accept herself with all her flaws and blah blah blah. Shut the fuck up. That's not what this character is. It's not what the movie is about. Supergirl is not like at least in my mind, I don't know. You could say you like that Tom King version or whatever it is. I don't think Supergirl needs to be some drunk loser that walks around and needs like a redemption arc from being a complete bitch to possibly like fighting or doing something at the end. I don't really know what to tell you. I don't need that character growth. I don't need any of it. It's shit, as the mega geek would say. Uh, the film
Indeed.
balances emotional character with some truly epic action sequences, and Jason Momoa's Loba is an absolute scene stealer. He was born to play this role. Mama's geeky. I don't really know what Mama's geek. It's something that I see like from time to time. Never
Yeah.
really. Is that like a YouTube channel? What is she? I don't know.
I don't know, but I've seemed to have.
I've seen this name before, and I can't really say one way or
Yeah,
another.
YouTube channel,
And then it's
entertainment brand, run by Tessa
unfortunately,
Smith.
Supergirl is a mixed bag for me. Wow, she went against like
Oh
she
no.
downloaded the document but went against it. As a fan of the comic, I was perhaps overly excited for the film adaptation. While Jason Momoa's Lobo and Millie Alcock shine, they all shine. Some adaptation choices and a bland villain keep it from greatness. It's simply put, just fine. Jason Momoa
Woohoo.
brings his two kids to Supergirl event, and red carpet. I don't hate Jason Momoa, but this is not his movie, and maybe he would have been a good Lobo, but I don't think that this movie is going to be the best place to prove that.
Yep. I don't know. I can say I got tickets to the Wednesday night fan event next week. The early showing on Wednesday. To get it out of the way. Actually, I've got an appointment the next day, so it's just easier
Yeah,
to do the Wednesday night showing. So I got tickets, but a week out, over a week out now, or just under a week out now. There are only 18 seats sold in that whole IMAX theater.
I am going to tell you something. I don't even think I got an IMAX. I think it's just whatever, is relatively like a shorter drive for me. I don't even really care. So I got a ticket, and I dare say that I think there was a handful, maybe like 4 or 5 tickets sold to this whole screening where I'm at,
Yeah.
which is really, really dumb. Think that they're doing this advance. Even like they had once, the Flash movie, they did an advance screening for it. Even like Masters of the Universe, things like that, I went, and there were actually people there. Like the Flash one was full. The Flash one that I went like an early screening, as bad
Mm-hmm.
and shitty as that movie was, that theater was full to maximum capacity, and that movie bombed.
Yep.
Supergirl doesn't have the excitement even of just people like, okay, we got to see the early premiere. I
Yeah, there's
bet
the
you that
early, whatever they call it, fan event thing. Sometimes they have like free goodies that they give out and stuff at these fan events. This, early showing, and yeah, there's a few dozen, not even a few dozen seats. I think it was 18, 19 seats that were
there's
sold in
no
that theater.
fans, and the only potential people that would have liked this, she already took a dump on them. This is again the same stupid thing that they're like, no, this time it's going to be different. It's so strange. You know what Hollywood reminds me of? You know that scene, this is so weird that I'm thinking of this, but you know the scene in Indiana Jones with the Grail at the end and
Mm-hmm.
Elsa? Let me see for a second if I can find that thing, Elsa Indiana Jones. Uh, let's see if I can find that thing. So you have that. I'll try to share this here. You have that scene in Indiana Jones where Elsa won't let go of like this one where Elsa won't
Yes, of
let.
course. Yeah.
So
She won't let it
basically,
go. He tries to save her, and then he falls trying to
so,
save her, and then he won't let it go until his dad
right. So the thing
tells him
is
to let it
that
go.
this Indiana Jones basically he's kind of like James Gunn is like Indiana Jones. He saw that Elsa, like other studios, other productions have failed with the whole woke thing. But now that he's so close to it and he got his own franchise, he thinks he's the one that could pull it off. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately for James, he doesn't have Sean Connery telling him, James, let it go. You know what I mean? The careers have already collapsed over this stupid thing. You're not going to be the one that does this well. And for him to do like this, like girl power Supergirl that doesn't appeal to men or the only people that maybe you could have gotten to buy these tickets. You want to take a dump on men and make this some weird like seventh wave feminist dream. You're not going to get anywhere. I don't know why it reminds me. I always think of this scene in life in general because it's like he knows it's the wrong thing, but once he gets there, he can't help but it's almost a bit greedy. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
And
yeah, it's an obsession, right? That's what it
it's
is. It's
it's
an
an
obsession.
obsession and it's like a greedy thought. He knows initially he's telling her, I love this scene by the way. This is for me one of the best scenes of the movie because the it's just very wise. There's something very wise about this idea that he knows what the right thing to do is. He tells her, let it go. Your life is more important than this. And she doesn't let it go and she falls to her death. And then he's in that position and he can't let it go because he's so close. And then that
Mm-hmm.
little greed thing comes on and he can't let it go. And the nicest part of the movie here for me is that, you know, his father, who his whole life, was chasing this thing,
Mm-hmm.
and according to them, at the expense of his relationship with him and his mother because he was so obsessed with it. At the end, I think I dare say this is probably the most emotional moment in the whole like Indiana Jones trilogy because there's sort of like an understanding, a full circle understanding that Indiana Jones himself finally understands in a way what his father's obsession was, but at the same time his father understands that the family was more important than the
Yeah.
obsession. And it's such a wonderful scene. Like if you ever want to see like me get emotional watching the Indiana Jones trilogy, and it is only a trilogy, those other weird things I don't consider them anything. If you want to see like a little bit of emotion for me in Indiana Jones, this is a very emotional scene that over the years when I watch it from not as a kid, when I watch it from time to time, I feel like this scene means more to me over the years than it did even initially when I saw it because I can really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
Such a
and
clever scene.
it's a great scene. It's not only just about him, him reaching out to his son to help him overcome this obsession. It's about him letting go of it too, and it's also about the wisdom of the father recognizing, if you want to get philosophical here, recognizing that what they're reaching for is to touch the divine, right? That cup represents from God and everything, like, and that's something not only that we're never going to be able to reach, but also that doesn't belong in this world. In it doesn't belong in the hands of mortals anyway, right? And so like, there's a bunch of different levels that you can think about that, but it's a beautiful scene, and just him connecting with his son, just looking at it and just saying, "Let it go," you know. It's a great scene. I do like the irony of this post that you're sharing though. I just realized that Elsa didn't let it go. Yeah,
Oh, I
let it
see.
go.
I never thought of that until this moment.
That's the joke that's being on that Reddit post there.
It's kind of funny. I never really
Yes.
thought of it prior, but yeah, it's a nice little thought there. But yeah, for me, this is like the highlight of the movie, and in a movie full of highlights. I mean, man, uh, in general, I know some people don't like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but you know what? I don't give a shit, Professor.
No,
I
Temple
like.
of Doom. Temple of Doom is fine. It's much darker. I can understand why there's people that don't enjoy that one as much. It is much darker. It's got a lot more like jump scares, stuff like that. It's a darker film, but it's still a very good film. There's people that don't like. There's people that don't like the third film because they say it's too jokey. It's not serious enough, and I don't get it. I think the tone it strikes is perfect. It's a fantastic film. The only one of the three that I got to see in the theater, and I got to see it twice. It was really, really enjoyed all three of the Indiana Jones films, though, because there are only three Indiana
There's only
Jones
3
films.
Indiana Jones movies. Crystal Skull, I did watch it recently. I think I told you I watched it recently because uh, a part of it was on. I was at some place where somebody had a TV like with actual cable, and it was on one of those channels. I ended up like watching a bit of it, and then I kind of thought to myself, "Is this good or bad?" Like I just figured I kind of wanted to revisit it suddenly, and I got home and I put on the movie. I think that the first maybe half of the movie is almost serviceable enough. It's just that as the movie progresses, and especially from the moment with the monkeys, the CGI monkeys in the jungle, it goes downhill in ways that are very, very difficult. It's very difficult to let it slide. But there are isolated scenes in that movie that are still way better than anything like the Dial of Destiny or I don't know what. Like there's some scenes in there, especially early on when he kind of encounters the Shia LaBeouf character and they're
Yeah.
kind of, being chased a bit and they have to like, come up with solutions. There's a little bit of something that I don't hate
No,
there.
honestly, I think probably the first half to 2/3 of the movie, maybe the first couple of acts, are pretty good. There's definitely some stuff in there I don't like in the earlier in the film. There's the whole stupid thing with him hiding in a refrigerator to get away from a
Okay, the
nuclear bomb.
refrigerator is
It's
stupid,
so
and
dumb.
that's really bad. And in
Yeah,
addition to that, Kate Blanchett does not convince me as a villain. I
nah,
I
not
mean,
great.
I didn't even mind her in like Thor. What is it like Ragnarok or I don't know what? Like when she
Yeah,
was that villain, I
I think
didn't
she's
mind.
good. She's a good actress, and she can do a villainous role. I don't she just it doesn't work in that
No,
movie. I agree.
okay, there's a few reasons why it doesn't work. First of all, this is taking place not in 2026. A girl boss Russian lady that all the men kind of like play second fiddle to her and like bow down to her, and she's like the big girl boss. I don't buy that. It's funny because they actually went for that weird girl boss thing early on, before like all of Hollywood is doing it now. They weren't one of the first ones to try to push that idea there. I'm not saying there couldn't be a woman that's bad. I mean, you had Elsa, that made me more sense to me, but I didn't buy that whole character. And the other thing is her doing that Russian kind of accent. I didn't like any of that, Professor. Just I didn't buy it. I don't
Nah,
hate Kate
didn't
Blanchett. I
work.
genuinely think she's a good actress. If there was a role on the resume of Kate Blanchett that if I were her, I would like hide it or remove it. It's her role in that Crystal Skulls movie because it's kind of I don't know if the word cringe. I don't really know. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
No.
Uh, yeah, I didn't really. So that was that. I don't know. Okay, so Crystal Skull. It starts off not terrible, but does go off a cliff. Unfortunately.
Especially
Uh,
when they bring aliens into it at the end.
yeah, there's a lot
Awful.
of weird things there that just don't. It was ill advised, and they made a lot of mistakes. Still better than Dial of Destiny. Uh, it's hard to believe that Dial of Destiny is so bad that I have to admit that Crystal Skull is somehow at least a semi-watchable movie in comparison, but that is the truth. Regardless, though, I don't need anything after Last Crusade. I thought that
Yep.
was like the perfect ending.
I
And
have I have not seen Dial of Destiny. I refuse to ever see Dial of Destiny. Not
unfortunately,
not
like
going to watch it.
I had to review it, so I watched it, and I genuinely felt sad in the theater watching it. Like it was sad to watch. I can't explain another word for it. It's beyond. Crystal Skull is the kind of movie that you could watch and get annoyed at because it annoys you the things that you see in there. Uh, Dial of Destiny was like I just sat there sad watching it because it was so awful. And as much as I knew it was going to be bad, it was worse than I ever imagined. And not only that, as much as I thought, well, as a YouTube person, I can do a review and whatever it is and whatever. But when I saw it and it was so bad, I just said to myself, maybe it would have been better if I'd never even seen this at all. Like that, it's that bad. In any case, back to James. So we were talking about James Gunn. So we won't let it go. He's the guy that's going to make Supergirl the feminist heroine that he always wanted, and everybody's going to tell him that he's the best because he can do it. Other people, I really think that James Gunn at some point started walking around thinking, "Well, they can't do woke stuff, but I can do it because I'm James Gunn." And it's like, no, dude, you can't. It's not you're not more powerful in it. You're not like so good that you can overcome it.
Yep.
And you know what? I think that in the case of James Gunn, we let him get away with too much. The third Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the writing was on the wall that he was already going in this direction, but he did it in a way that wasn't as over the top. The first season of Peacemaker didn't fully go in that direction either. And I think that, like, he established himself. He's like, look, I can do this, I can do that. But once he got a little bit of credit bouncing back from all that stuff that happened to him, that he was canceled by his own studio and all that, he's like, okay, well, now that I'm back in good graces, let me show them how to do woke. I'm going to teach them. And didn't work for him, unfortunately for him.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Lucy says when Gunn brought in Tom King, it was already over. I agree. I don't understand why he would bring him, but that it is what it is. Very strange indeed. So now this Supergirl thing that nobody wants to see is going to be a huge failure, in spite of these shill reviews. And it's sad that we can't even pay attention. Here, somebody says this is giant freaking robot. I also don't trust them, but it doesn't matter. Uh, Supergirl earns rave reviews, but the movie is still doomed.
I don't know. Giant freaking robots usually pretty good.
They're okay. I don't really know. I don't, rave reviews, killer performances, mediocre box office. Everybody agrees that Million Cock is amazing. Does that mean blah, blah, blah? Right now, the movie is projected to earn between 45 to 55 million in its opening weekend. That's not an extremely low amount, but it's still much, much lower than Superman's 125 million, which ended up earning 612 million. Sorry, 618 million. It's a late hour, Professor. Supergirl's overall box office is correspondingly low. Could be bad news. The movie will need to make 315 million just to break even, considering how disappointed the box of Masters of the Universe, Mandalorian, and Grogu, blah, blah, blah. The Woman of Steel's feature film could be doomed. How much do you think it's going to make at the box office, Professor?
Well, my earliest predictions were about 315. I think it may finally creep up to that number. But if this is getting bad word of mouth from the first weekend, it's probably going to do closer to 225.
Also, what is this nonsense that it needs to make 315 million to break even?
That number's nonsense.
That is absolute nonsense. And this is always what they do, these studios, that they put in these bullshit articles.
Yeah, that number is probably the earliest number that they got for budget, right? But remember, they have been reshooting this movie. They are still reshooting this movie up to 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So there are going to be immense costs for all of the reshoots that were done, the pickups that were done for this late. There is no way this movie only cost what did they say, 125 or something?
So basically they say that it cost them 175 million. That is absolute nonsense. They said that a very long time ago after all the reshoots and whatever, not less than 225. And then you have and they put Valiant Renegade here. You say that it's because they know what I watch, so they put it there. Maybe, I don't know, but in any case, The true thing is actually, even according, I guess they're quoting Renegade, that it could be 600 million. Yeah, I mean, if they spent 175 million on it, let's just take their stupid shit at face value. So twice that would be 350, and then they would need like another 87.5, right? They need to
Yeah,
make like
but
400
if
and
if
something
this
million.
if this hits their top number, right? If this
Right.
hits their top number, 55 for its opening weekend, if this has just typical legs, we'll give it to top end typical legs for this film. We'll give it a 3x. That's still only $165 million. So
It,
that's terrible.
absolutely.
Absolutely awful. This movie is going, it could potentially, and again, those are a 3x multiplier off your first weekend. Those are pretty solid legs. That's better than average. Why, and 165 is as good as they're going to get off their total run in the theaters. They're not going to come anywhere close to 315, much less if the movie was 225 or whatever, coming anywhere close to 550 to 600 to make up for it, right?
I think in
Not a
spite of all
chance.
of their bullshit, there's no way that this movie can break even if it makes less than $500 million, in my opinion. If we take the 175 thing, which I don't believe, even there we're in the 400s, but because I know that they did more reshoots and with all of their crazy marketing, 500 million minimum needs to make at the box office worldwide to break even. I don't think that it's going to be making that. And when all said and done, it could even turn out later that if they didn't have 600 million, they don't break even. This is going to be a major loss. And no matter how much they try to spin it with the home media and all the bullshit that they're going to try to spin, they're not going to pull it off this time. This one is going to be one that James Gunn cannot weasel his way out of. And I'll tell you another thing. One of the reasons that James Gunn weaseled his way out of the Superman flop, which was at the box office a flop, it doesn't matter that later in streaming it made a few extra dollars, it broke even, but like when it was in its theatrical run, it did not break even. One of the reasons that was buried so much under a carpet, swept under the carpet, was because at the time, and again, not to toot my own horn, I was probably, I hate to producer Patrick you, probably the first person to report on it, that the reason why Warner Brothers were doing that was because they needed the stock price to stay high. Now, at the time, I admit, until Cosmic Book News said specifically that he understood that Paramount were trying to take over Netflix, which was shortly after what I said that I don't know the exact reason, for why this is happening, but they don't want the stock price to go down. And they're so adamant about it that they've hired really fancy PR firms to try to spin this as a success no matter what. It's like, aside from maybe The Last Jedi, I don't remember another case where there was such a manufactured an artificial effort to try to present a movie as a big financial success when in fact it was technically a box office flop. And at the time they did it because they wanted that big deal. They wanted the buyout. Zaslav wanted to make money, but now nobody cares. You know what I mean? I don't think that they're gonna. I could be wrong, but I don't think that they're gonna make the same effort this time. You may have like blue-haired weirdos and activists and weird jerk offs doing it, but not. I don't think that the studio is going to spend millions on PR to try to clean up this mess. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen.
Also, also,
And this is going to be, and I think that this absolute disaster here. They keep talking about all these other new movies that are going to be made. Oh, there's going to be this. We're going to make Batman. We're going to make this other stuff. Actually, they were announcing some other stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with any main, like central characters in the DC universe. And it's like, what? Like you're going to do Clayface later this year. And then next year, you've got the next Gunn Superman movie, which already looks kind of terrible. I think that's going to be the end for James Gunn. I don't think there will be any more films in his roster after that. I think he's done.
No, I don't think that he's going to be doing anything either. And the one thing I'll tell you is, as much as Superman was like a mild box office flop, it was close enough to sort of breaking even though it didn't break even, that it was worth it for them to do the spin of, well, when you calculate the streaming and immediately whatever, it was worth it for them to do that extra effort to just save face. But I think that with Supergirl, it's going to be such a noticeable flop that sometimes it's not something that you could go and spin in the same way, in my opinion, at least.
Hmm.
Unless a miracle happens, it would have to be an absolute miracle for James Gunn, to come out of this like on top. A miracle would have to happen. I don't know what that miracle would be, but it would have to be a miracle or something that you know nobody's anticipated that would cause this thing to do well. Other than that, any bit of logic says that this thing is going to fail miserably, and I'm okay with that, and that's a good thing, as Hollywood likes to say.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a bad film, it deserves to fail, and it deserves to fail miserably. You're right. Yeah,
Deserves to
it's
fail miserably.
it is. Yeah. Oh, that was the thing that I saw. Yeah, they were going to make a new TV series out of Gorilla Grodd,
Oh, I saw that stupid thing. I don't. What do you
and
want from me?
potentially
But just,
Jimmy Olsen is going to be a part of it. What?
I think that initially
What?
they greenlit a series of Jimmy Olsen, and probably I'm just going on a limb here. Okay, uh, probably what happened was is that initially when James Gunn was squeezing out green lights when he was still in that kind of dick swinging position early on, uh, he somehow managed to get that approved, maybe the Jimmy Olsen show. But after like people were ridiculing it, he decided to retool it and make it like a Jimmy Gorilla Grodd show. I feel like James Gunn, anything that was accidentally greenlit, he's not going to let that go now. He's just going to, if there was ever like a piece of paper that they signed with him that he's making that, he's not letting it go now. He'll make it. So whatever he has to do, it has to be Gorilla Grodd and Jimmy. He doesn't give a fuck. He'll make that show, I guess. What will that show look like? Who knows? Uh, Another thing is Clayface, which people are like, why is Clayface going to be a movie? The thing with Clayface is that most people keep forgetting. What happened was, hold on, that was a guest appearance. I don't know if you heard it.
Little bit there.
Could you hear it, or am I the only person that could
I heard a little something. I heard a little somebody who wanted some attention.
In any case, what was I going to say? So Clayface, what happened is that if I remember correctly, the story, the reason you have Clayface is not because of James Gunn, it's because of Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves had this vision that he wanted to make a Clayface movie. So he wanted to do it, and he already started making the plans to make it. Okay. I think that prior to Gunn's arrival, and I'm not 100% sure, you could Google it, it was already basically approved, and they told him, at Warner Brothers, sure, you did the Batman and we didn't mind that, and the Penguin or whatever it is, and here you go, make this Clayface thing. The other idea was that Clayface would be a movie that I guess they don't spend hundreds of millions of dollars on. I think it's a lower budget kind of flick, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a body horror thing, and maybe it has its own kind of niche, and maybe Matt Reeves. Some people like Matt Reeves and some don't. I rate him much. I think that Matt Reeves is not perfect, but there's some stuff that Matt Reeves has done that I've liked. I think that those Planet of the Apes movies, the ones that he did, I thought were very decent. It shows that he's not. People always tie him to like J.J. Abrams and stuff like that. He's better than J.J. Abrams for me. I'm not saying he's perfect. I still think he's better. And I guess he had this Clayface idea. James Gunn, what happened is that when he came in and was firing Cavill and swinging his dick all over the place, he suddenly realized that Matt Reeves was making Clayface, and he didn't like it because why is Matt Reeves doing this when he's the guy in like DC? Not only is the guy with Batman, now he's going to do Clayface. So James Gunn, I don't know how he did this, managed to take away the project from Matt Reeves and intercept it and make it from a Matt Reeves Clayface movie to a James Gunn production. Now, in order to solve some problem there, so there's like not a legal issue, they have to keep Matt Reeves as an executive producer. Matt Reeves is contributing nothing to the movie. He's getting money, he's getting paid, he's getting a producer credit. He's not, as far as I know, involved in any other way, as far as I know. So basically, It's a very strange situation. Do you get what I mean?
It is an odd situation that they have. Yeah, it doesn't really make any sense.
So I guess what
They're
I mean is
yeah.
he didn't want to make the movie. Do you get what I mean?
Uh-huh.
It was more important for him that Matt Reeves doesn't get another movie. And I think the thing that really worried him, a low budget movie that Matt Reeves was making with some body horror, he couldn't sleep at night thinking that maybe that movie would make money. Do you get what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh,
Uh the whole plan for the DCU over there, I think since Gunn came on, has been just bizarro world to reference the DCU. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, hey there, CC. How you doing? CC karaoke in the chat. Oh, probably had to step away for a sec. Yeah. So I am. Yeah. This whole Supergirl thing and everything that James Gunn has been doing in the DCU has just been a mess. I don't understand where his ideas come from. Like, obviously, I mean, you want to play to your strengths, right? When you go in. So what does he do? He goes in, and the only ideas he has are, oh, we're going to have all these quirky teams with all these quirky characters. Like, oh, look, creature commandos. Oh, we're going to have just all this. Oh, we're gonna have this team and that team. We're gonna have all these quirky characters that are gonna be together. And yes, I know. I think quirky was the drinking game tonight. So I've said it a few times. So make sure you take your shots. Uh, we're gonna have all of these different weird characters with different dynamics that we're gonna play it, because that's what he. I mean, that's what he does. That's the movies that he makes. He makes these movies with Guardians of the Galaxy humor, Guardians of the Galaxy characters, the same interaction, the same dynamics, and he just keeps doing it over and over and over again. Guardians of the Galaxy was a good film. It was a lot of fun. It worked really well. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, you continued the themes of found family and how important that was. You got to expand a little bit more on, that family dynamic with what was going on with Star-Lord and his dad, and what was going on with Gamora and her sister. You got to expand on that, but that doesn't work for every single character, and I would say especially for DC. A lot of these characters are standalone characters that they come together for certain situations, but you got to be able to tell a standalone story. If you're going to tell a story about Batman, you got to be able to tell a Batman story. If you're going to tell a Superman story, you got to tell a Superman story. Does he have other little characters around him that are part of his universe, that are part of his story? Yes. But they're side characters. It's not a team of people. It's not this strange group of people all coming together, right? Like we had with the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's not a found family thing. It's Superman, and yes, he does have Lois, and he does have Jimmy, and he does have other characters around him. But if it's a Batman movie, it's Batman. You got to focus on Batman. Who is Batman? Why is he Batman? What his dynamic with his rogues gallery and all that, like that's the important thing. Yes, you can bring Robin in. Yes, you can bring in other characters that are part of the Bat family. But if the first movie is Batman and the Bat family, then it's not going to be the same, because he's going to do the same thing he does with all of these other movies. He's going to bring in this ridiculous thing where it's, oh, look, we got all of these quirky characters, and you absolutely know if they do a Bat family thing, if they tried this, which I don't think Gunn is going to get the opportunity to, but that if they did a Bat family thing, some member of the Bat family is going to be gay. Right. Like, but besides Batwoman, who of course is as established as being a lesbian, there would be somebody else. One of the Robins will be gay, something like that. They're going to have to bring that in, right? Because that's the dynamics that we're looking for, right? Uh, but yeah, he's got all of these other ideas, and it's like, oh, we're gonna take these weird side characters, and this is gonna be our focus. Oh, we're gonna take lanterns, but we're gonna take them and make them so that they're not really the lanterns. There's something else. Yeah, there were other stuff like, yeah, the Authority. Like, most people out there, most normies, have no idea what the hell the Authority is, right? They're not even
Right.
truly DC characters. They were brought in from outside. You know, when they bought up, what was that? Was that Image? Or was I don't
You know
remember.
better than me, man.
Yeah,
That's your territory.
no, I don't remember exactly, but yeah, I don't which comics that was. But then like they were sort of retroactively squeezed into the DC. It was Wildstorm. That's what it was. It was Wildstorm comics. I couldn't remember. I was like, it wasn't Image. It was yeah, Wildstorm. Well, Wildstorm became Image. Yeah, okay. Anyway, yeah.
Caleb Levine has this good comment. Not having a Batman yet is the equivalent of not having a Captain America or Iron Man. If you're rebooting the DCU, you have to lead with the main guys like Batman and Superman, not creature commandos. The thing
Yeah.
is, the only part, and I have nothing good to say about James Gunn, is that he inherited a strange situation that Matt Reeves made just about the threshold they told him to that he needed to make if he was going to get another movie. And you may like the Batman, you may not like it, but it made money of sorts. It wasn't a complete failure for them. So they were just okay with giving him another shot at it. And meanwhile, James Gunn, the opposite happened to him. After seeing what happened with Superman, they weren't too hot on giving him a DCU Batman. So they're just like, we're sticking with Matt Reeves. Now, if you ask me, this has at least partially something to do with Gunn's greed because Gunn still, I think, had a chance to walk into DC Studios on his first day, round up. And again, I know even you, Professor, and I've said before, he's not my number one Batman. Okay, I liked Michael Keaton and Christian Bale more than I like Ben Affleck as Batman. But on a business level, if I was James Gunn at the time, and I said this in a video, I've shown it to you before, that right when he was appointed, I said he needs to go and make a movie with like Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman with the cast that he had then. And this is years ago already. Expedited, rush it into production, bring Affleck, bring Cavill, and bring Gal Gadot at minimum. Make a movie which could function either as a farewell to them, or if it's good, maybe you make more of it. And I felt that at minimum, if he did that, he would at least be showing some respect to the people that bought tickets all those years and never got any kind of closure for that whole series due to all of like Warner Brothers poor decision making. I thought that like it's a nice way to show that you don't take your clientele for granted. And the other thing is that I think that at that moment in time, if he would have done it correctly and cleverly, it probably would have been made more money than his Superman movie. I think there was a way to make it so that it works somehow,
Yeah.
but he didn't want it to be because he's kind of an annoying, jerk off. He and with a big ego, he didn't want people to say that he was taking something of Zack Snyder's or whatever it is. So he needed to kill all of that and then start his own one. But by doing that, he sort of like, already didn't have a Batman. So then the other guy had a Batman, and they're not giving him a new Batman. And then he's with Superman, and then with Supergirl, and doing all this stupid shit. So some of it is his fault, and some of it is that there were circumstances around him that were hard for him to change. But I will say that if he wasn't a greedy jerk off from day one, maybe he could have done better.
Yeah. Well, it's silly to come into the DC universe and be like, "Oh, we're going to feature all these goofy teams of characters." It would be like them trying to start an MCU, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to start with a Great Lakes Avengers movie." What? Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, we're going to come in. We're going to start with, with these other little teams like Creature Commandos that hardly anyone knows and virtually no one cares about. No, you know what you need with DC, and I've read lots of DC over the years. I read Marvel, but I was more into DC, mostly for Batman and some of the other characters. Back then, like I said, big Green Lantern fan. But with DC, there is literally what is referred to as the Trinity, right? The big three.
Right.
The central characters of the DC universe are Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. If you are going to come in and you are going to build a cinematic universe on the DC properties, you start with those three characters. Period. Those are the cornerstones. Those are the pillars of the DC universe that you build everything else on. And if along the way you have some fun by doing a Blue Beetle movie or doing something with Booster Gold, or you want to focus on some other characters like John Johns, the Martian Manhunter, whatever, right? You want to focus on some of these other characters for maybe a show or a little side movie or something, that's fine. But you have to focus on those three, those three characters, those pillars of the DC universe, because it's more than just like those are the three most popular characters. Superman represents strength and hope within the universe, right? You have Batman, who is he's strategic, he's tactical in the way he does things. He also uses his fear to fight back against the threats that he has. You have Wonder Woman, who represents more truth and compassion in the world, right? So you have these different focuses, these different ideas, these different characters that are part of the DC universe, the cornerstones of DC. And you're just not going to get to those for however many years, right? You start with Superman and you make a Superman movie that's not even really a Superman movie. It's a team up. And then you got to go on and you Creature Commandos and the Authority and what it was a disaster from the start. Yeah. Did we have some super chats or something?
No. There was something. I think the real head case was a member for 5 months, and I don't know if I said it. I think I showed it, but I don't remember if I said it. So I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware of that, and we like the real head case, and of course appreciate that. So thank you. And
Zephas over on Rumble says, "Don't forget Howard the Duck." Yeah.
That was kind of a weird movie.
It was a very weird movie. Yes, it really was.
Very strange. What was I going to say? So we went over Spider-Man and Superman, and then you know what else is going to be a box office flop, apparently?
Looks like The Rock.
Absolutely.
With a freaky wig on his head.
Apparently, people are not sold on this. Let me see for a second. Moana box office. Let me see if I can. Okay, so why doesn't Google find results? It's the strangest, spooky thing. I hope I didn't press something bad, but I'll deal with that later. Deadline. Moana, Disney live action take of animated hit, setting course for $85 million opening. U.S. opening box office early look. It may look like a fancy number for you, but all things considered, I think that they were expecting a much higher number. This isn't considered like a slam dunk for one of those big Disney movies. Moana or whatever it is, I think that did well, or that was considered a popular property. So I really think that they were expecting this to do significantly better. It doesn't help. I'm not saying that The Rock looks kind of silly here, but
he looks pretty silly. The trailers are very underwhelming, I have to say. Very underwhelming on the trailers. And I think maybe people might have finally had enough with all of the live action remakes after Snow White last year. That maybe they're ready to write it off. I mean, when did Moana, isn't he, it's 10 years old, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's just it's 10 years old and now they've got to remake it. That's
Nobody was itching for this. Yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like a bunch of the other movies they've done. Oh, we're going to do a live action remake. Okay, well, the movie's 20 years old, or it's 40 years old, or it's 80 years old. Now we're going to do a live action remake of a movie that just came out 10 years ago. Like, okay, sure. Why not? Yeah, no, it does not look good. And that box office, I mean, man, that box office is basically half of what they're expecting for Toy Story 5. So
Always great seeing CC Karaoke here, by the way.
yeah.
I think Lilo and Stitch live action soured a lot of this 2000s generations fan, which Moana fits into.
Yeah.
That Lilo and Stitch was better than whatever this crap is going to be, I think. Lilo and Stitch at least had a little girl who was kind of had some charm, but I don't know. I don't know.
That reminds me. I saw the news, unfortunately, that the actress who did Lilo's voice had passed away.
That was kind of wild. She was young. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's it was a medical thing. It wasn't it wasn't some tragic violence or something like that. She didn't die of cancer. She had meningitis. And moved on to sepsis. It's very awful stuff. Yeah. I have a friend that she lost her husband to something similar just a few years ago, and it just happens like very, very suddenly. You just get an infection that it moves into a blood infection, and either the antibiotics can fight it off or they can't. I mean, it's just.
How do you even get such a thing? It's so strange.
Well, I mean, meningitis, there's lots of different types of meningitis that you can get. It happens for various reasons. But just having an infection that turns into sepsis, moves into a blood infection is, I wouldn't say it happens a lot, but it does. It's not infrequent. And Istvovo says it was drug abuse is how she got meningitis. I hadn't seen that, but yeah.
I don't want to jump to conclusions.
5966 says she was a drug addict, basically skin and bones. I mean, that does happen. Yeah. But yeah, the sepsis, like, once you've got a blood infection like that, it spreads very, very quickly, starts damaging organs.
I don't want to jump to conclusions, Sister Phobos. I don't know that lady, and I don't know what she did. But I will say that it is a tragedy, and I'm sorry that she passed away. Regardless, this thing with The Rock, there's a couple of things. First of all, people are tired of these live action remakes, and I hate to say it, but they're kind of also tired of The Rock. So if in the past they thought that the live action would sell it, or The Rock would sell it, or the live action with The Rock would sell it, it turns out that neither of those are really making a difference here. CC Karaoke says, all I can say is that Lilo and Stitch was a bit of Last Jedi moment for my girlfriend. I know she wasn't the only one. I am not 100% sure what you're talking.
No, it was I mean, people there were a lot of people that were big fans of the original Lilo and Stitch and reacted very poorly to some of the changes that they made in the newer, the newer version of the Lilo and Stitch.
Rightfully so.
film.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, they did their usual bullshit. There's scenes that they copied 1-to-1 from the animated movie. Those are the better scenes. However, there's a few things that happen in that movie that are really annoying. First of all, the idea like we're not giving up on family, forget about that. They're like, screw that guy at the end. I don't know, like they're not like as not giving up on family. The other thing is that the sister in the original one, she ended up raising her little sister and all that other stuff. In this one, some other lady convinced her that she needs to go to college and leave her kid sister with somebody else. And it's like, what? You know what I mean? Like that is not really the moral of the story. There were some very basic beats here that they swapped around so that they and the reason they did it is that they wanted to elevate the sister, the older sister, to a girl boss level. Do you get what I mean? She wasn't girl boss enough just by being a good sister and wanting to raise her younger sister like her daughter. She wasn't that wasn't good enough. That was considered like crappy and weak. They needed her to also be like a rocket scientist. So she's like so the neighbor pops up and she's like, "It's okay, like we'll take care of her, and you just go and study rocket science." And she's like, "Okay, see ya." Do you remember the end of that movie? Or am I? You're
I didn't see it, but I heard people saying it basically. So she had a chance to go and be a marine biologist, I think it was, and
whatever.
she got a
Yeah,
chance to go to this particular school. It was in California, I think, instead of someplace in Hawaii. Which, by the
right.
way, plenty of places in Hawaii to study marine biology. But no, she had some chance to go to California to study, and then was like, "Well, yeah, can't turn that down." So yeah, mahalo means go live with the neighbors.
She goes lives with the neighbors. That's the moral of the story. That her little sister needs to go live with her neighbors. She has to go like study. I thought it was rocket science. As you say, it's a marine biologist. Doesn't even matter. Whatever it is, she's the best. She has to go and she has to get a degree. Nobody cares about that little girl. Like she has to go do it. That's more important. And I don't know. I think that maybe they also blew off. Maybe they blew off the romance. Maybe they did. Maybe they didn't. The whole thing is just so processed through the modern day agenda peddling nonsense. It's not that the whole movie is like that, but the fact that there's key moments that they decided to switch with like modern quote unquote sensibilities, which only ruin the story and don't help it in any way. I wasn't excited about the Lilo and Stitch remake.
No.
Then again, I will still say that out of all the remakes that I've seen, it's one of the least offensive ones, even though it is still offensive. So with CC Karaoke's girlfriend, I can completely understand why she felt the way she felt. If like Lilo and Stitch was really really important to me, which admittedly it really wasn't that important to me, but even I got annoyed. I think that it would be annoying.
Yeah. And as far as this movie, as far as the new Moana film, whether that's going to be a success or not, well, I mean, as I said, the trailers are not particularly impressive. I think a lot of people have already had enough of these live action remakes, especially one trying to remake a movie that's barely now 10 years old. And then on top of that, The Rock is just not a draw anymore. And in fact, he's closer to box office poison than he is a draw. I mean, you have recently it was Black Adam, right? Was a huge bomb. Um, Jungle Cruise, that Disney Jungle Cruise movie, that was another huge bomb. Smashing Machine was his attempt to get an Oscar, and it was a huge, massive flop. And he's made other crap like Red One, which got like almost no box office because it was an Amazon MGM
You know,
mess.
I will say this. I can't believe I'm going to say this. Everything you said is crap. Okay, and and Red One. I'm not going to sit around here and tell you it was great. But I was with a few people and they put on that Red One movie. It's not a good movie, but if you kind of don't take it too seriously for a movie like that's direct to streaming, it wasn't the worst thing I'd ever seen. I'd stop short of saying it's not good. It's not anything memorable. You'll forget it 1 minute after you saw it. But out of like a lot of his stinkers, I actually think that that one was mildly watchable. That for whatever it's worth.
Okay, fair enough.
I mean, again, I think that Chris Evans is a douche, and I don't rate him much on any level. But if it's the one that I'm thinking that has like Chris Evans in it, I thought that it wasn't a bad role for him. It has J.K. Simmons in a role there as well, also like an actor that I don't mind. Overall, like it had something going for it. At the end of the day, is it like a good movie? No, it's like a preposterous, ridiculous Hollywood movie. But I think that it's on purpose. Like it doesn't take itself seriously. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So that's
Yeah.
my impression here. I can't believe it that I said something mildly positive about Red One, but here we are. It's not a good movie, don't get me wrong, it's not a good movie, but, there are movies sometimes that I've seen that I don't think they're especially good, but there's something about them that has some kind of entertainment value, even though I know I'm watching, like, something of a kind of not such a good movie. You know that feeling where you watch and you know it's not that good, but you don't necessarily hate it either?
No, I've seen plenty of films that are that way, right? There's something about it that's clearly like it's not good, but you can see how you could enjoy it on some level. Maybe it's not so bad.
Like, it's the kind of movie that if you were, like, on a plane or if there's just a bunch of people in a holiday situation putting it on, there's something that you could just get through it. It's not, again, nothing great, but out of a lot of those the rock stinkers, one of somehow one of the more watchable ones. In any case, this Moana thing, the media is already doing their spin. They're like, if some are shocked by the lower forecast for Moana, take note. Yes, there's the tried and true excuse that it's still early in the campaign, but you also have Toy Story 5 and Illumination and blah, 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 blah. So I guess no, they're not actually trying to say, um, no, but here they're saying Moana is on par with Universal's live action take of DreamWorks Animation's How to Train Your Dragon, which began with 84.6 million last year. Did that movie do well? I don't even know.
It did all right. I don't remember if it did
I don't
super
remember at
well.
all. Let's see. Moana 26 budget. What's the budget for it? It's 200 million. So that's a serious
Eh,
amount, the Moana.
yeah, and the How to Train Your Dragon, yeah, it did. It had a reported production budget of 150. It was probably a little higher than that, but then it did have a worldwide box office of 639
That's why they're
639
mentioning it
million.
because they're
So
saying
yeah,
like, "No,
it's
don't be so
fine.
worried yet. They may still surprise you. Maybe they will, maybe they won't." All I know is that they're going to need to make like a good amount of money, and 85 million isn't a spectacular opening. You never know. But I didn't really think that people were itching for this movie. You know what though? I did see a movie this week. I forgot to tell you. You know that I saw a movie. Uh,
Uh,
by
yeah,
the way, I'm going to talk to you.
I saw a movie too.
What did you see?
I saw Toy Story 5.
You did?
I did.
Okay. Before you talk about Toy Story 5, did you really see it?
Yes.
So it's the Phobo side, and he asked me if like we were going to talk about Toy Story 5. We will talk about it, and if he's still awake, I'm going to send him an invite so he can give his thoughts, you can talk about it more of a panel. I didn't see it, but actually, that wasn't the movie I wanted to talk about. I saw a movie, a kind of small movie that most people aren't paying attention to now.
Oh,
It's
sure. Yeah.
called The Furious.
Oh, I've heard good things about this. I have not gotten to see it yet.
So let me see for a second if I can find it. Uh, Surprisingly, on this rare occasion, there's a 98% critic score and 95% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm only surprised because like the critics are usually so annoying, so I wouldn't expect them to like this. But and I don't trust anything that happens on this site, including the audience. But I will say that this movie was good. Is it a 98 or a 95? I don't know. I mean, I also know people that are in my circles that are like would probably give it these kind of high scores, saying it's like the best thing they've seen in years or whatever it is. I saw the movie, and do you know anything about it, Professor?
I know it's more of a martial arts film. That's about it.
The thing is, I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything here. Uh, I won't give away like whatever ultimate like plot points there are in the movie, but I think that this movie, if you're going into this movie thinking, "Wow, I really need to see like a Shakespearean level screenplay here," probably not going to get it. Uh, to me, this movie is sort of like the movie Taken with Liam Neeson meets Bruce Lee and maybe a little bit of Jackie Chan,
Hmm.
which is not a negative thing. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any issue with it. Uh, I'll put it this way. Basically, there's this guy. He works as like a handyman. He actually is a mute. He doesn't speak, and his daughter is taken by some bad people that do bad things. They do bad things. They like to. borrow children and then loan them out. Was that it? That was that a
Yeah,
good way to?
yeah. That's yeah. I think you get the point across. Sure. Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, whoever's watching it. I try my best with the YouTube filters. Uh, there is they borrow children and loan them out, and they get stuck in a lot of traffic jams.
Okay.
Did I explain it in a way that everybody understands, or did I?
Traffic
Was this?
jams.
They they get into traffic jams. They loan out the children.
Okay.
Anyhow, so this guy who was a mute handyman. His daughter is taken, and he has to go and do something about it. He wants to, get his daughter back or whatever it is. The movie then becomes this big, like, just nonstop martial arts action movie with like impressive, very well choreographed fight scenes. Let me put it this way. If you're into martial arts, if you like action, if you're into that kind of thing, this movie is going to be something you'll enjoy. And it's done on a level that you feel like there's professionals here doing this. This doesn't feel like it's half-assed. I think that the budget for the movie is like less than $20 million, but surprisingly, this movie puts to shame a lot of these kind of bigger Hollywood productions that would probably attempt stuff like this. And it's very hard not to appreciate how nice all this action looks. In that sense, I give it like really high scores. Okay, it's an action movie. It has really great action, especially like martial arts and stuff. Hard not to enjoy it. Uh, when it comes to the story and screenplay and story, very basic, but it's very well executed. Another strange thing about this movie is the actors are all Chinese, I guess, but they talk in English. And in some cases, I feel like they use Chinese actors, but they dub them maybe with American actors. I'm not sure. That part of it is kind of weird, but you know what? You're not really thinking about that too much.
Yeah.
That's
It's
not
fairly common. I
fairly
mean,
common. That's probably not the reason why you're watching this movie, anyways. And yeah, at the end of the day, uh, there for whatever it's worth, beyond the fact that the action is good, uh, because whoever they're Chinese, they don't really care about what goes on in ultra left winger weirdos in Hollywood. They have a father that wants to fight for his daughter, and there's another guy there who's also fighting for somebody, and they basically don't mind that there's like strong men doing whatever it is that they do. They have like a woman that does something that is considered whatever, but this is not a movie, one of those kind of like girl bossy things, you know what I mean? Like this movie knows what it is, it does what it does, and it's not there to spend time lecturing you. It wants to give you like a high octane, very well choreographed action movie that just hits the ground running quite literally and doesn't stop. If I had to say anything, listen, I don't mind that it felt a bit long. I think that if you would have cut maybe like 10, 15 minutes from the movie, probably would have been even better runtime for it. But I wasn't bored or anything. I mean, I enjoyed it. The other thing I'll say, and this is a weird thing to say, that the action looked so good, it almost looked too good. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you almost felt like it was almost too much of a good thing, like because it was so smooth and so well done. If you know what I mean.
yep.
Almost like you're watching. I'm not gonna say you're watching a video game, because you can appreciate that there's actors doing this, but, it's so smooth, like, so perfect. But again, not bad, I enjoyed it. Overall, do I think this is a good movie? Sure. I liked it, and, it's also not one of those hundreds of millions of dollar budget thing. It's a smaller movie. This year until now has been the year of the smaller movies, where there's a lot of movies that didn't cost like, those big Hollywood budgets, that were made by smaller teams, and you feel something when you watch them that you don't feel from those other ones, and this is a good case of that. The other thing is, some of the action at some point gets very kind of, in some cases very uh visual violence. I don't know how to say, gory or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I mean, in the trailers, I remember seeing him breaking a sledgehammer over somebody's head. So I would imagine things get pretty brutal. Might be a good word for it.
that's like the most
Yeah.
lighthearted thing that happens in the movie, I think. Like, that's the part where you're just like, "Oh, they're really, like, going soft here," and then, like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of everything now, but this is a movie where somebody could suddenly pull out this, like, sword and just, like, chop a person into pieces, and, like, then you have another scene, nobody, and it's not even, like, a big thing. There's suddenly, like, a guy with bow and arrows, like, he's, like, shooting a million bows, and it's just it's wild, you know what I mean? But there is something charming about the fact that there's, like, no holds barred.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they don't care. They don't give a shit what you think. They're making their movie. Like, you can
A
go
bit of the
fuck yourself.
old ultra violence.
They are making an ultra violent action movie full of action and adrenaline. They don't give a shit what you think or what you believe or what you care about. None of that matters to them. They are making their movie and they don't give a fuck. And you know what? There's something a bit refreshing about that. So, if do I think that this was a good movie? Yes. Do I think this was a good action movie? Yes. Do I recommend it if you like that genre? Yes. Is it one of the better movies that I've seen this year? Yes. Is it like a 98% Godfather level score? I would stop right there. It's not, I still don't consider it like Godfather level movie, but I do like it. I think it's a good movie. I just sometimes I don't love throwing around things like 98%. You know what I mean? Like, that for me, if you haven't made something that, like, has to go down in history as one of the best movies ever made, I don't think you get to be, in that bracket. But if you make a good movie, you could be, somewhere in the 80s. I could see myself giving this movie something in the 80s, perhaps. Maybe I'll do a review, so I'll wait with my score. I'll think about what I want to give it, and then I'll give the exact score. But that's what I think.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, this is actually one I've heard from several people who were saying some things about it being really solid film and wanting to see it. So yeah, I will definitely see if I have the time to go check this one out. If not before it ends up in theaters or before it leaves theaters, then when it ever hits streaming. But I guess this is one. This was actually one from last year. Came out last year in Hong Kong, China, in that area, and then yeah,
I don't even know if it made money there though, because they dubbed all the actors. They don't like it when they not dubbed. The
well, they
actors.
redub, for the
But I think
American
that in their
audience. Yeah.
case, the actors always spoke English, probably with a heavy accent, and then Americans dubbed over it. It's very, very strange. I don't really know how to explain it to you, but it doesn't look like the usual that they speak Chinese, but somebody dubbed over them. They look like they're speaking English, which is all very weird. And I feel like when they released this in Hong Kong, they don't like it when you have people speaking English there. So I don't assume they would have liked this. It's all very weird. But what I'll say is, before I send Istophobos an invite for Toy Story 5, I know you saw it, and I just want to quickly grab your thoughts.
Yeah.
I want you to say, like, with no influence from anybody, just say whatever you thought, and then after you give your thoughts on it, I want Ista to come on and give his thoughts on it, and then I'll try to compare your thoughts.
Yeah. So we've got, right now, review wise, it's doing pretty well, but it's, when we're talking about Rotten Tomatoes, obviously, yeah, we know they're bought off, we know they're paid off, and we know that it's a Disney movie. They were probably going to give it fantastic ratings anyway because, oh please, right? It's a Disney movie. Well, this I have seen, as we mentioned before. I've talked about before the Toy Story films. I thought that the first three films were a perfect trilogy of films.
I
They
agree.
work. Yeah, yeah. Same. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no. I'm saying the first three movies were legit. I'm
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
100%. I agree with you. But
Excellent story arcs for all the characters. We got the first film, which was absolutely groundbreaking, incredible film We got the second one, which we got to expand on the backstories of Woody and Buzz, and we got to see a little bit more of the world outside of their little neighborhood there. We got to spend more time learning about some of the other characters. They introduced a couple of new ones, like with Jessie and her horse and so on. So we got to see a little bit more there. Then with the third movie, we got to see more of them, that having to deal with the idea that their kid was growing up and wasn't going to be playing with them anymore. And now, like, what is actually meaningful to them? And we get that found family storyline. There's also some great anti-communist stuff that they sneak in there, which was fantastic. But we even have some funny new characters that we get introduced to during that story. But it's a really great set of those three films. Now, the fourth film, when that came out, I thought was really a cash grab, and it was. I mean, it's the story of these characters have been told, right? Now they're trying to do something else with it, and they spent a bunch of it is about them going out, and they're at like a carnival, and he's trying to find Bo Peep, and then Bo Peep that movie just did not work. It did not fit with the rest of the Toy Story films. It was just sort of this other thing, right? I don't know. This one, I can say this. I felt like it was a little bit closer to this Toy Story formula than the fourth movie, but I still was not particularly happy with it. I thought it was very sloppy. It jumps around a lot. There's a lot of there's scenes that go on too long, others that are too short. You have seen the trailers for this, right? So there's really the sort of central conflict of the story is going to be now technology is going to be part of the world, right? So they're toys, but now kids are all spending time with technology instead. So she gets a lily pad, which is of course the stand-in for an iPad or an iPhone. That enters in, and now she's spending all of her time playing on that instead of playing with her toys. And as she's also starting to grow up, but part of the story is, kids are growing up they're being pushed into growing up too fast because of this technology, because now it opens them up to all sorts of other things, this communicating back and forth with other people. They even touch on things like virtual, online bullying and stuff like that, being made fun of because you don't fit in with the group. And she goes on She goes on a sleepover, and instead of taking, being there and playing with toys, all the girls, everyone just has their iPad, the lily pad toys, or lily pad, devices that they're staring at the entire time. And of course, Jessie is horrified by this, and so wants to try and fix it. This is, as has been rumored, as some people talked about, is absolutely a Jessie-centric story. And when I say it's a Jessie-centric story, I mean she is the absolute center of this story. Now, that's not necessarily a bad thing had they done it well, but I don't think it's done well. It's also frustrating that Buzz and Woody, who have been the heart of this set of films, the heart of this franchise, are essentially they're not even second fiddles. They are tertiary characters in this film. You essentially could not have Woody and Buzz in this movie and nothing would change, because their only job is to sit around and talk about how amazing Jessie is and how much they love her. That's all they're there for. Right? So it is
doesn't even feel like a Toy Story movie.
No. So it's about Jessie, and she's obsessed with being played with again, which of course we've seen this before. We saw this exact same thing with Woody. Why won't he play with me? Going through all sorts of crazy things to try and be the one that gets played with and and so a lot of this feels like a rehash. A lot of it feels like very intentionally they're focusing on Jessie's story instead, because she's, female. Of course, she is now the toy of a girl, right? So I mean, in some ways that makes sense that they're focusing now on that, and Bonnie and the technology and her relationship with Bonnie and her relationship with previous girls who played with her toys. And then, you know what? I don't have a big problem with that. I just don't think that this story is told very well. I think that the legacy characters are kind of done dirty here. And then it's not all that interesting. Price, I dozed off at one point. I dozed off at one point watching this because it just sort of keeps going on. It's like, oh, okay, no, they're doing the same thing over again. In the end, there are so many weird things that happen in this. I would say more than any of the other movies up to this point, it is bizarro how far they've gone with the rules for what toys can do outside of being watched by humans, right? Because this has always been part of the story. When people aren't around, the toys have a life of their own, right? And they can sit around and talk to each other, and they have feelings, and they want to be played with, and they want to be valuable to their person, to their kid, whatever. But in this, they go way further than I feel like they have in any other. Now they went pretty far with Toy Story 4. In this, they go even further to where Woody he's part of basically a toy rescue group that drives around in a car that's disguised as a skunk, rescuing toys that are no longer played with. And they're insanely busy now because technology now has all of the kids, getting rid of their toys, not playing with their toys. So there's a cadre of toys running around, helping other toys, and then there's another thing that completely just I did not understand. So the movie starts out. I don't want to get in, spoilers, or I don't know if anyone cares, but
I don't care.
The movie starts with a shipping container that has fallen off of a ship and crashed onto a deserted island. It opens up with these new fancy Buzz Lightyear toys that are like connected toys. The new high-tech versions of Buzz Lightyear,
okay,
that powering like waking up, and there's not one of them. There's like 70 of them.
Okay,
right, and they're all trapped on this island. But then they start to sort of come around, and they realize they're supposed to be looking for Star Command, and they see a star in the sky, and say, Star Command. And so they go chasing this star. They build a raft. And then all of them climb onto it and start paddling to get somewhere. And then occasionally they keep coming back to these characters. They're just sort of on their own little separate adventure until, of course, they come back and they're important. And then you find out that somehow these Buzz Lightyear action figures are actually quadcopters. They're drones. And so they're able to fly around and carry toys around with them in the later part of the film. Which is I'm sorry, what? They're quadcopter? Huh? It was so bizarre. But overall, this movie's messaging is so mixed. Is technology good or not? Well, It's good for some things. Like some people can use it to make friends, but also it's for bullying and it also takes away their youth and the kids get obsessed with it. But then it's also good because then they can communicate with each other and learn. It's like it's such a sloppy messaging here. And again, I found it was just kind of dull, man. I don't know. Is this going to do well in theaters? Is this going to be a huge hit? I couldn't tell you. I know that it's going to do well in its opening weekend. It's going to get solid numbers, especially here in the US.
It's a big brand.
How
It's a
it's going to
big
do
brand.
past then, I don't think this is going to break the billion. I really don't. I think a lot of boys are going to be young boys are going to be turned off by this movie. They're not going to be interested in seeing this. It is very female centric. All of the characters, all the kids playing with the toys are all girls. The central character of this is a girl. I think a lot of young boys are just going to be uninterested. Is it going to get repeat viewings? That's another big thing. If you're going to talk about billions, you're talking about people taking their kids to the theater multiple times to see this, right? If it's going to be getting into the $1 billion, I don't see families. I don't see parents taking their kids back to the theaters multiple times for this one. I really don't think it's that good.
I understand. I personally, I'll tell you what. I saw that third movie. This is so weird. It's the Phobos, and one other person wants to join your stream. I'm so curious as who the other person is. Uh, in in any case, I saw the third one, and I saw the first and second and third one, and the fourth one, I think I started watching at home, and I dozed off and looked dumb. This one, I just wasn't even on my radar, and I couldn't care less. I didn't see it. Uh, that's so weird. It's you. It's the Phobos and Professor R2. That's so weird. I don't know, but I've already accepted you. Okay, whatever. I brought on it's the Phobos, just so you know, he wrote to me earlier today. He was itching. He's like, I gotta tell you, I saw Toy Story.
And
And
six has a question for us there while we're waiting for it to
where is it? Where's the question?
six, just right there. Yeah, last couple of things. Yeah.
The internet rocks for bullying cracks knuckles.
No, a little further down.
Is it girly enough to be popular with girls? Probably not.
I would say potentially, but again, I just don't think that the emotional beats and the messaging of this are quite as good as any of the previous Toy Story films. I know that Toy Story 4, despite how sloppy is what a mess it was, still did really well at the theaters. I know it broke $1 billion. I don't know. I don't know that there's as many people who are interested in going to the theaters for another Toy Story movie as there were back. Remember, that was 2019, right? That was pre-pandemic. That was pre the coof, right? It was also before a lot of people had caught on to a lot of what Disney has been doing with their films, the more woke stuff that they've been putting into it. So, is it possible that we've got a movie that girls are going to be interested in? Maybe it's definitely more oriented for girls. I'll tell you that much. I'm not a girl, so it's rather hard for me to say for
And
sure whether they would be more interested. I'm also not a kid.
You're not a 5-year-old girl, which is what this movie is aimed at. I don't think parents are going to want to see it again because this thing is boring.
Oh no, it's boring as crap. I think parents are going to be bored out of their minds watching this. Like I said, I dozed off at one point. I was so bored. So I don't think this is going to see a lot of repeat viewings. Is it going to be enjoyed by some kids? Probably. I'm sure it will be. Plenty of poop jokes in this one. But yeah,
I think I expect it to underperform, but for Toy Story, that still means
Yeah,
700-800 million.
Yeah, I'd say 8. I would say that 8 to 9 probably. It is not going to break $1 billion. I wouldn't be surprised for it to hit 8. But I don't think it's going to break $1 billion.
All right, are you ready?
Bring it.
Okay, one, I specifically said I was not itching to do shit. I said I saw it. I'm willing to talk about it. I don't think it's worth spending a lot of time on, actually. That was my wording because, all right, a couple things. This is a feminist reskin of Toy Story 1.
Yep.
By Greta Gerwig doing her Last Jedi impression. Okay, the only characters in this show with agency are Jessie and even Bo Peep, who's not in there much, but she gets the acrobatic action scenes. She has the agency. It's Sheriff Jessie and 2 deputies
and her deputies
and begging to be along for the ride. Buzz is a coward. He wants to ask her to marry him, but he's so scared. And Sheriff Woody is fat and old and bald. And the women are giving the men flowers in here. The men have no agency. The rest of the choice completely ignored. There are no emotional beats to this film. So how it starts out, it's just, so there's 3 things. This movie has a really weird mixed messaging about technology. It's bad, and then it's not bad, and it's good, and it's not good, but they didn't answer it. They never talked about the parents' role in raising a child or books. It's either toys or your iPad, which they had a little lily pad. Yeah. The other thing is now the toys, they can animate around humans. You can be holding a toy and it's moving around, I guess, unless you're looking directly at it. They can send messages on your behalf.
Yeah, they can use technology to send messages back and forth.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and they can spy on you and somehow, like, she just gets this lily pad, she can uniquely identify every other kid in the neighborhood and know exactly who they are, even though she has no friends and doesn't know anybody. So it's very weird. And they get violent. The toys actually attack the iPad. They're violent and mean and angry and cruel, and they're trying to basically kill this iPad. It's really kind of fucked up. So, but I'll tell you, so I call it The Last Jessie or The Last Jessie because Buzz and Woody are basically Finn and Poe. They're just around to let Jessie shine, but there's a little Luke in there because Woody's an old broken down. So they've already departed from the dynamic because it's no together. It's the Jessie show. But it has this weird feminist gender reversal thing too. Like I said, the Buzz spends the whole time trying to get up the courage to ask her out. And when he's finally about to do it, she just goes, "Oh, you want to marry me?" and kisses him. Like she steals everybody's thunder.
She kisses him, and who puts their leg up when they're kissed?
Yeah. Buzz. Like, I'm saying all of the men here act feminine. Who
gets bent over?
Yeah,
gets bent over for the kiss at the wedding. She bends Buzz over for the kiss.
Yeah, and even Bo Peep's only in there for about 30 seconds, but she's doing all these badass acrobatics and things where there's space. But like Woody and Buzz are clumsy and falling down and completely. So here's the thing: this kind of wokeness, this misandry here, lack of masculinity, it's more cleverly buried. You'll hear people talk about it. Oh, it's a story like Alan Ng loved this movie. What's he smoking and why isn't he sharing? But the main thing, and as he said, they introduced this whole army of new Buzzes, the high-tech Buzz quadcopters, for the sole purpose of having a new toy to sell for merchandising. Yeah. Because all the other shit is the same.
Which is ridiculous because any toy they sell isn't going to look anything like the one that's in the movie. Because the one in the movie looks just like a regular Buzz and then has wings that pop out and then transform into copter blades.
Yeah, and then Jessie becomes a Luddite, this anti-technology crusader. But you remember they had technology before. They had cameras. They had the speak and spell. They had the tech toys. But the messaging in this thing seems to be, there is none really. It's sort of a piecemeal confused. Now, when it first started, I'm like, okay, there's something. You remember those Toy Story shorts? This is a 15-minute short about the evils of iPad that's been stretched out to a movie. Plus, they're addressing shit from 20 years ago, just like Disclosure Day, just like He-Man. It's like we are well beyond just the screen time problem. We've got a lot more things here it doesn't address. I've heard some people mention, oh, it's about AI. No, it's none of that. It's a social media.
Nah, there's no AI stuff in this at all.
Yeah, it's just an incoherent kludge of, you know what would be cool? Let's have this scene. You know what would be cool? Let's have this scene. But the buried misandry of this movie and the sort of the toxic femininity. So yes, don't bring your boys, man. There's nothing for them. They're going to be bored. I did see, like, I of all the people to put myself in the mind of, it's not going to be a 5-year-old girl. I got no idea. But I did see some in the cinema. They seemed pretty excited, and a few of them looked like they were crying, or so whatever beats are in here, it got to some of them. But most of the parents looked like they were looking for their straight razor so they could cut their wrists. Nobody clapped when it was over. As soon as the credits roll, man, people were bum rushing the door. It's only 90 minutes. It felt like it was 3.5 hours. But like I said, there's not even enough coherent messaging. It's just like, technology is bad. You need real friends, but we'll use technology to get real friends. But then the real friends use the technology. So have them put it down. Like, it doesn't really address any real world issues. It's kind of like, you know, this is bad until it's not. And then this is bad until it's not. And by the way, there's an army of Buzz Lightyears that are only existing to sell toys. They do a little search and rescue thing at the end. But basically, Woody is a hobo, and Cuck Lightyear is a little cuck just trying to get the guts to ask Jesse. This is character assassination. These aren't the characters that we knew and grew to love and take seriously in the first 3 movies. There's no charm, there's no earnestness, there's no sincerity to this movie, and there's certainly no cleverness. There are a few poop jokes, and I'm always up for a good poop joke or a poop emoji, but you can tell whoever wrote this, like I said, it is Greta Gerwig trying to do a Barbie Last Jedi on a reskin of Toy Story 1 with a couple of elements she ripped off from Toy Story 2. They try to make it sound profound because Jessie goes back to the house of her first owner, which predated Toy Story 2. Like, she knows the room, she recognizes it. But this isn't the daughter. This is some sort of ambiguously brown skin, ethnically diverse person that we don't know exactly who it is. She just loves horses. It also looked like there's a 10-year age gap between the 2 girls that are friends, but I guess canonically one's 8. Bonnie looked really small and behaved very young for an 8-year-old.
For an 8-year-old,
she's special. Like, I have kids. I know what 8-year-olds are like. She acted more like a 5-year-old. And then this 9.5-year-old horse chick who's basically the girl version of a manic pixie dream girl. It's like, she's so cool. She does horses. She knows tech, but she also loves to play old school toys. Like, she does everything. She does it all. So it's sort of like the Mary Sue was the love interest for the 5-year-old Bonnie in here. It's not coherent enough to really be subversive. But I suspect that most kids are going to be bored. There is nothing in here for boys at all. If they're going in expecting to see Woody and Buzz, or even any of the other toys, they did them all dirty. Plus, it's the same voice actors. They all sound older than me, like 85 freaking years old for the ones that aren't dead. God, Jesse sound like I gotta get my dentures. I don't know where my teeth. Where's the denture cream? Gotta clean my. Where's my hearing aid battery? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the hell accent I was trying to do here. But the voice acting is just kind of horrible in this. Excuse me there. This is a nothing movie, but it's going to be like Moana 2, which cruised off the brand of Moana 1, but is really going to hurt Moana 3 when it comes out. This movie will make money, but it has killed any chance of being Toy Story 6. And you know there's going to be one because Disney won't leave money on the table. They won't let anything finish and they won't let anything die until it starts costing them hundreds of millions of dollars. But they have killed the brand. They've done so much brand damage with this. This is, aside from the stolen plot beats and characters, this has no relation to the first 3 Toy Story movies. I saw 4. I don't even remember what it was, some kind of like action Bo Peep, and she's still like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the total screen time for Buzz and Woody is under 12 minutes in this movie. It is all Jesse. And the weirdness of the toys, it's more like Chucky toys. Like they didn't stab anybody, but they did try to beat up a couple other toys. Like I said, violent, weird agency, some mixed messages of technology, and some odd, real, creepy surveillance state shit in here too. Like,
well, there's like I was saying, yeah, absolutely. The mixed messaging, like, oh, you know, there's not like a core message they're trying to get across.
No.
There's all kinds of, oh, well, technology bad, but technology good, because technology allow you to meet friends, but technology also allow you to be bullied by people who aren't your friend. Like it's weird. It's very weird. And then, like you said, there's this stuff that really, like, I was like, huh? What? Like the toys themselves having way more of their own ability to like affect the world than they did before. At one point, this is the thing where I was finally like, oh, Siri, God, just walk away. Really just wanted to just walk away. But the lily pad realizes how much it's hurt her, how much it's hurt Bonnie, and decides to just walk away.
Yeah, but it also gets the toys thrown away before that. Like I said, Buzz actually gets to fly at least, but there's a whole bucket of toys that actually build a ship, cross the ocean, go through customs, and then navigate container shipping and the entire, like I said, Chucky, or what's other anime? This is like Megan 3 or something.
Yeah, and then there was another bit that later on that happened that too, I was like, I'm sorry, but this just sort of stretches believability here, the rules of what's going on in the film. And that was, remember when a whole gang of like 50 toys come riding up on all of her toy horses? I'm like, is she not going to realize that all of the like every toy in her room is now gone?
Yeah, there were a few funny, like the Buzz trying to ride like the baby runt Pegasus. There were a couple of chuckles in there, but yeah, it was absolutely absurd. Like I said, you can't really wrap your head around the metaphor. But if you're a 4 or 5 year old kid, there's enough flashing lights and pretty pictures. Some people were praising the animation, and they kind of switch styles. When the toys are on their own, it looks more like a hand drawn aesthetic. I didn't really like. I like the old Toy Story classic. Like they tried to be too clever, but didn't have any soul. And as far as mixed messaging, the old movies had a theme. I don't want any messaging, mixed or not. That was my problem with He-Man. Don't give me conflicting message. Don't give me any messages. Yeah, have a theme. Make a theme of the movie, but there's still plenty of lecture in here. And like I said, the two big things completely absent. And it worked with the first Toy Story movies because of the subject matter. But even then, you had parents. So there's no parents involved in their kids' life at all except to buy them tech. And there's nothing about books or reading, or it's like, no, you either spend all your time on a screen or, playing with a toy with a friend. Although the fucked up tea party scene, it did give me a chuckle. Like there are a few little chuckles in here. They ripped off Toy Story enough, but
there are, and I thought the addition of the potty training toy voiced by Conan O'Brien, it made me laugh. It was a funny character to throw in there. I didn't really care so much about the other characters they had there with it, but and then they throw in this very interesting idea that apparently when toys have low batteries, they act like they're drunk.
Oh yeah, until then they act like they're dying when they're just about to go out. But there's a weird. Well, none of my shit acts like it's drunk. It just turns off. But
exactly.
Yeah, the other weird thing, like little kids have weddings. I've seen my nieces, they'll have a little, but these weddings had kind of adult fucking themes in them. And again, I'm just going, like, who are they making this movie for? Some people say this is a warning for parents about tech or social media, AI or whatever. Nothing is coherent. It's just all kind of jumbled together. Like I said, this was a cool 15-minute short about put down your iPad for a little bit and play with your damn toys and go make a friend. But other than that, this movie really didn't have anything to say. It had plenty of lectures, but just like Barbie, I don't know if you've seen Barbie, like the creator of Barbie thought she was making a feminist manifesto, but she was actually like showing how awesome guys are and how crazy and sort of like out of control women are.
How insane women can be.
Yeah, so their lectures don't even make any sense here because they don't really understand what it is they're saying or doing. I found it really hard to believe that Andrew Stanton had his hand in this. I really didn't. But like I said, between the two of us, though, I think we've talked more than this movie actually warrants. It's just, all other things aside, it's a movie for girls that I think has a good chance of boring most of its target audience.
Yeah.
You guys don't think it'll make $1 billion?
Yeah, and Eminem was asking if he thought it would be $1 billion. I don't think it's going to hit $1 billion. I really don't. It's not going to get the repeat viewing that's necessary to get to $1 billion.
I'm not sure.
By the way, Six gave us whatever this is. Is it a hippo? I don't really know.
Dancing hippo?
Dancing hippo. Thanks, Six. Six, I really like Six, but I'll stop talking now.
So do I.
Anytime that I say additional comments after that, and ends up getting me in trouble. So
yeah, I know
I'll
that.
just say that I
Six.
like her, and I'll leave it at that. And I'll be quiet now, Six.
Thank you,
I
Six.
won't say anything anymore.
Thank you, Six. I like you too. I am going to predict a 71% second weekend drop, which will be devastating for this movie. I could be totally off base here, but I just don't see the word of mouth pulling it. I mean, it could pull a Barbie, but I don't think there's any way this is going to.
No, you know why? Because Barbie had one thing going for it. All the girls that grew up, they all played with Barbie, and now you were, for the first time, making a movie about Barbie. Now, initially, it was Amy Schumer that was supposed to be Barbie in the original concept. And
I don't see that.
With Margot Robbie. Now, let me tell you something. Women can tell you all they want that they love watching fat blobs on the screen and all this stuff. None of these women, they can all tell you whatever you want, that you didn't want Luke Skywalker to be a bum and all this shit. They'll tell you whatever. I want to tell you one thing. There is no woman in the world that would have preferred Amy Schumer as Barbie versus Margot Robbie. And they played with Barbie, and they expect her to look like Barbie. And Margot Robbie, with all of her flaws, because there's some weird things, I don't agree with all of her.
Yeah, but she's so hot.
But she does look like Barbie. That I can't take away.
Yeah. So, I did want to tell you I forget her name. Let's see, it's Davy Chase. She was hospitalized for malnutrition. She almost died from not eating. And that's when she caught, which looks like, and I've heard a couple of people say, drug-induced aseptic meningitis while she was at the hospital. But clearly, like, if you're about to die because you're not eating food, there's something wrong. She does have a history of drug and alcohol abuse. It just makes it all the more tragic. I'm not blaming her or anything. Somebody that young dying is majorly fucked up. Also the Furious, it was one of the first movies that was dubbed by AI. They're using the new AI dubbing technology that's supposed to match the movements of the mouth with the words. There are a couple of companies that are running it, and it looks incredibly action-packed, badass, much like the Raid.
Wait,
so I'm looking forward to it.
They spoke in English and they redubbed it in AI. I don't understand.
No. They spoke in Chinese and AI dubbed it in English and altered the mouths to match the English speak. It was all made in Chinese.
Right, but when they released it in China, did they see a Chinese version of it?
Yes. Yeah, they saw a Chinese version.
Yeah.
So why don't I see that it made money? Like, do I know if it made any money there?
You would never know the truth regardless.
Right, that's true.
Yeah, you might as well invent a lot. Oh, and that for Moana, a big chunk of that big cash was Chinese box office, which means Disney didn't get any money from it anyway.
I see.
But I expect the AI technology, like in 5 years, your TV will have an AI. It'll just automatically dub anything you want it. Like, I have mixed feelings about subtitles. I like hearing the original voice, but then you can't look at the eyes and the faces of the characters when shit's going on.
Yeah,
so
that's
you
why
almost have to watch it twice.
Yeah, that's why I've told people to watch anime, but I always watch the dub, and they're like, "Oh, how can you do that?" And I'm like, because if I have the subtitles on the screen, it's just me. I mean, it's I'm sure there's plenty of other people who do the same thing, but I am locked in on reading the subtitles. And I am missing the animation. I'm missing the facial expressions. I'm missing the eyes. I'm missing I'm missing everything else that's going there. I try to pay attention to both, and I just can't. When the letters are up there, when the words are up there, I am looking at the words all the time.
Yeah, even if they drive by a sign, I miss the
And so I have such a hard time doing both. I have to just do the dub whenever I can. And I know people argue about the American dubs are so bad, whatever. I don't, suck it. It's fine. There's plenty of great American voice actors. Not every dub is severely inferior to the Japanese dub. I'm sorry.
Yeah, my favorite is turning on the English with the Japanese and the 3 different versions of the subtitles that fans made and try to figure out what most accurately reflected the spirit of the fucking original. But I like I said, if there's words on the screen, I'm going to read it. So like with anime, you miss the beautiful animation, and with, regular acting, you're missing the core of the performance. So you really do have to watch it twice. I cannot. I'm a good multitasker, but not that kind. Like, I can only focus visually on one thing. So
we had it was AD Ellis 24 over on Rumble says it will make $1 billion. It's tracking at 400 million opening weekend worldwide. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. This is an established franchise. Just like Star Wars, just like a bunch of other things, this is a sequel to a sequel to a sequel to a sequel. It's an established franchise. The people who want to see it know they want to see it, and they're going to go see it opening weekend. So this is going to be a heavily front-loaded film. So yes, it probably will make high threes, 400 in that first weekend. The question is, what is that drop off going to look like in the second weekend? And I think you're right. It's probably going to be 65, something, maybe 70 in that second weekend, because the people who want to see it know they want to see it, and they're going to go out and see it this weekend. They're not going to wait for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And again, I don't think this gets the repeat viewing that has led these other films to make $1 billion.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, there haven't really been a lot of kid stuff and school's out, so definitely front loaded. But if it does pull 400 million, even if it does 2.5x of the opener, like, it's going to be close to $1 billion. I'm assuming it's playing in China, so maybe it will cross that. But like I said, Toy Story 6 is shot in the heart.
If this is a female-centric film, it is not going to do well in China. Sorry.
Oh yeah, that's true. Also, I'm telling you, unless your mom has a septum ring, your parents are not going to want to see this twice. I think Barbie had a whole hell of a lot more repeat viewings than this thing is going to get. But I'm just just some dumb guy.
Maybe the audiences love it. I don't know, but my assumption is it is going to have a pretty solid opening weekend. It is going to get pretty good, pretty decent numbers in the theaters, but I don't think it has that. Yeah, it doesn't have that really deep emotional message, that connection there. The parents are not going to be there enjoying it as much. It's not going to perform as well. It's going to have a great opening weekend. I think it's going to fall off pretty hard after.
Yeah, if this was the first movie of a series, it wouldn't do half of what it's doing. And Price, look at those reviews you have on the screen. Like, not the score, read the words. Like they're not describing a
The
3.5.
professor is
They're
in
not
control of
describing
the
Yeah,
film. He's
the
the guy.
professor is in
Yeah.
control. Yeah,
They are describing a much shittier movie than the score which they gave it.
which is pretty common, right? It's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
common with some of
yeah.
these reviews. They're like, "Oh, it's a fresh movie," and then they say, "Charming bits throughout and a timely message." Folksy
Yeah.
charm still at the center, which is like revisiting an old friend. It's become reflective of itself and its own themes. There was one in here that was savage. Where was it? I'm gonna see if I can find
My
it.
favorite one
There
was
it
I
is.
hate life, I hate the world, I want to slip my wrists. B+. Like,
No, this one right here, 1.5 for a film that is fundamentally about the critical importance of imagination in modern life. There's something inescapably unimaginative about Toy Story 5. And he's not wrong.
no,
Like
no.
you said, this is basically a soft reboot of the original Toy Story with Jessie in the central role. That's what yeah.
Yeah, that's
Pretty
what
much.
was missing though. Like the first time she's playing with her toys, it was kind of imaginative, but no one has imagination in this movie. That's like I said, even the wedding at the end seemed kind of fucked up. But
yeah, the AARP doesn't love it. The movie strains under the weight of multiple storylines and an overstuffed hamper of characters, but there are charming bits throughout.
yeah. So that's not a 3 out of 5 to me.
No. Yeah, there's so much weird, strange, like convenience and stuff in this film.
wait,
Like
There's nothing about parenthood in this fucking movie except that those are the things that pay for the tablets and give you a ride. Like, this is the bittersweetness of parenthood. Did we see the same movie?
in creative zapping existence throws off Pixar's ability to brainstorm a dynamic story. In an effort to lure lonely Bonnie into meeting friends in real life, several scenes center on characters attempting to send or receive an email.
Yeah.
yeah, this movie could have been an email, I suppose.
Yeah, there's a little bit of To Catch a Predator in there, isn't there? Like the lure, using devices to lure. Like, it is a little like you said, a little creepy.
Yeah, and like you said too, like there's toys that are able to send emails back and forth to each other. They're messaging each other through technology. Somehow the advanced high tech Buzz Lightyears have Wi-Fi that they're connected to the internet.
Yeah, they do an upgrade so they can fly with a.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's after their app. Yeah, they get activated by being connected to the app because they have a QR code on their ass.
Yeah, yeah.
And they get activated, and there's an app that downloads, and then they can fly. They fly now.
Yeah, but remember how Woody and Buzz, like, they were alphas, but they were also kind and caring, and they took care of everybody else. And now all of a sudden, and Jessie's character was not that of a leader in the movies that she was in. So now all of a sudden she's the sheriff in town, and the two male toys are begging for her attention. That Last Jedi, I keep going back to the rise of the last Jesse. Yeah. Ouch.
Yep.
There is something strange though that's completely off topic, but I was just wondering. I was reading something that LA is creating a law or trying to pass a law or a bill that non-citizens are going to vote. Did you see anything like this, or am I imagining?
Yeah. They've tried to do that in New York too. Yeah.
I don't know. Like, isn't there a point that somebody steps in and says, "Okay, wait a second"? You know what I mean? Isn't there something that, like, the Supreme Court or somebody pops in from somewhere and says, "Nope, can't do that"?
Oh,
you know what I mean?
States, it's in the Constitution. The states run their own voting, and when you say, if you were in Florida, there'd be a point to step in. Who's going to step in California? They've had a Democratic stranglehold for 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they've been working on that one for a while. There's another one recently priced that it's one that is going to have to get that will eventually get slapped down by the Supreme Court.
The Nick Shirley law.
There's a bunch of different there's a bunch of states, and Virginia is the latest one, who've signed on to this contract to say, well, we're not going to we're just going to award our electoral votes to whoever gets the highest number of votes nationwide. So they are going to allow other voters in other states to decide who gets their electoral votes.
Yeah, that's not going to pass the Supreme Court.
Yeah. So, but it doesn't kick in until there's enough states that have joined this little coalition or whatever. So technically, the Supreme Court can't really do anything about it right now because not enough states have joined this little, whatever. But they basically say, we're just going to award our votes to whoever gets the plurality of votes nationwide. Of course, not realizing that means that
what happens when the Republican does
Virginia would have given their votes to Donald Trump in the last election.
Yeah, so in that case, they would say, "Oh, wait a minute, we didn't mean that."
Yeah. Actually, we changed our minds. We're not actually going to do that.
Yeah, yep. That's disenfranchising enough. I think the Supreme Court could probably step in earlier, or at least like right at the moment of voting, because that's something that can't really wait. They would probably have to do an emergency overnight on that. They're going to wait until the Democrats expand the Supreme Court.
How they could say that non-citizens could vote. It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't
they're
know.
Doing it now. They just want to codify it in a law.
Oh yeah, non-citizens are voting all over the place.
Right? No. I'm
right
sure
now.
that it's somehow, allegedly happening. But I'm just saying that, regardless, the fact that they're even trying to codify it into law is just crazy.
Yeah. Well, did you hear what Rubio said? He really summed it up well. He goes, Americans work for 40 years. They pay taxes. They follow the rules. They build the country. Then they retire on 800-900, maybe 1,000 a month. Meanwhile, new arrivals can receive more support from the same system that they never paid into. Read that again. The people who built America are being pushed to the back of the line. That's not compassion. That's a government priority program. America First was never a slogan. It was a warning. Who comes first? The taxpayer or the legal aliens or the system?
But you know what? You know what I think? The Republicans had the president. They had the Senate. They had the House. They had everything, and they've done nothing, in my opinion.
Yeah, but they didn't really have the House because there's too many rhinos in there. There's too many Democrats pretending to be Republicans.
That is 100% an issue. That is 100% an issue. That the one chance that they had, a historic chance to seemingly do something, the fact that there's so many rhinos is a disgrace. And I think that this midterms now, I don't know what's going to happen now. You know what I mean?
Trump should have used the Epstein files for blackmail and got everybody in line and passed that shit. But there's only one Democrat. There's only one dino, and that's Fetterman. Oh, well, I didn't say it said anything. I said he should.
No, but in any case, what I wanted to say is that I don't understand. I mean, I do understand because of the rhinos, but I think that now there's going to be midterms and things are only going to get worse because I don't think they're going to even have, unless he can find a way to primary all the people that annoyed him and replace them with people that aren't these kind of rhinos or whatever it is, he won't have that and he won't get a chance to
well, he's done a few. He's already done a few.
Maybe, but I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with these midterms. Honestly, I really don't know.
Yeah, but
unfortunately, John Dune is not up for re-election. But
I do think it's going to get worse. But like the only saving grace is I'm looking at England right now, and it's like at least we're not that bad.
At least it's not that. At least we're not in that steep of shit.
It could absolutely get that bad.
But I'm old. I'm not going to live that much longer. So hopefully I'll be dead by the time it gets as bad as England.
I don't know, man.
England is getting the whole thing with the
Yeah, with
We're just gonna put this in. It's just gonna be child verification. We just want to make sure that
Oh
kids
God.
aren't gonna be on aren't gonna be on social media. We're just gonna, but we're also gonna give children the vote. We're gonna allow
Yeah.
children 16 years old to vote, but they're not allowed on social media. But also, in order to ensure that you are, the proper age to be using social media, you are going to have to verify your age on every single one of these networks using a centralized, universal, compulsory digital ID.
And your
And
passport and your credit cards
Yep.
and your
And you're going to have
birth
to connect
certificate.
it to every other bit of, because the number of people who will not admit that this is very clearly a backdoor for
Oh, yeah.
compulsory digital ID that's going to be tied to every corner of your life in the UK, and then they'll be able to monitor everything you do, everything you say, every transaction that you say, and then people say, well, they can't. How could they do? They can't be watching all of those things. The hell they can't. Guess what AI can do without a second thought? AI can watch all of those things. It can watch it 24/7, 365 without a nap. We're not talking about MI5 agents sitting somewhere watching somebody's transactions. We're looking at AI that's just going to look through all this data, and it's going to say, oh, hey, this person over here just bought a St. George flag.
Yeah.
So we need to start watching them closely to ensure that they're not some sort of radical. And so then they'll start digging further into other things that they're doing in their life and start looking at other stuff. And then when they find out that they made a post 2 years ago that said something nasty about Keir Starmer, they'll shut down their bank accounts, make sure that they no longer are employed because their digital ID will be tied to employment, and then they'll arrest them.
Yeah, but no. They're not even going to be allowed to buy the St. George flag because not only can they turn your finances off, they can delegate what you can pay for and what you're not allowed to pay for. They can control the food that you can buy, the items that you can spend. They'll control the platforms that you can engage on and the information that you're allowed to see. That's the beauty of having, if you have 16-year-olds voting, but they're not allowed on the internet, then all they have is the indoctrination they got from public schools. So.
Yep. And the BBC.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a backdoor thing to digital ID, which the voters overwhelmingly already rejected. They try that shit all the time, with all the, the anti-piracy stuff. They met in secret on an island, but the voters rejected it down. So they put the same thing in the middle of a farm bill, that people had to vote on. I mean, they do that stuff all the time, but social media is kind of the people's bread and circuses. I wonder if that's going to be the last straw if they take that away. I did a tweet. I said, if I was a trillionaire tech mogul, I might offer everyone in the UK free access to a VPN through an app that I supposedly own. Man, wouldn't that be freaking cool? Mm-hmm. It's like Rob Schneider saying he'll pay all the baseball players fines who get fined for, for saying or doing Christian stuff during a game.
Well, that was they were handing out there. It was mandatory part of their uniform that they had to wear hats with, rainbow pride stuff on them. And so some of the players wrote Bible verses next to the rainbow, basically talking about it was verses from Genesis, basically saying this is the actual purpose of a rainbow. This is what it says in the Bible, and people got super offended and angry over it. And I'm talking about fining, and I'm like, if you're making it compulsory for them, you're compelling speech. You're compelling them to deliver a message, and that's
against
not acceptable.
Their religion.
Yeah. Well, there was
NASCAR's doing that shit. Talk about not knowing your audience. Like, there's nothing more Bud Lighty than NASCAR. Like, who is running these places? Sports, I thought, would be the last bastion of masculinity, but no, they're going like woke as hell. That must mean that the front offices are filled with blue hair, middle class.
Of course they are. Of course they are. And but they also know that if they don't bend the knee, they'll have to listen to all the Karens yelling at them.
Yeah, or or they'll get canceled and fired, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But I thought it was kind of cool of Rob Schneider to go. He put his address out there. He's like, "I'll pay any baseball player's fine." Now those guys can afford it. How about paying for the people who don't have anything? They're getting screwed over by the same kind of policies. But it was still a boss move.
Yep. Well, Price, we got anything else, or are we ready to wrap it up for tonight?
No, I think we're ready to wrap it up.
All righty. I'll get you some numbers over here for Rumble. Small group over there tonight, but we're glad to have them all. Maybe a few lurkers. We do have the best lurkers on the internet, so yeah.
Yeah. We had some great ones tonight. By the way, I called Supergirl a month ago at 220 or 225 million. So, we'll see how that runs.
We'll see.
Yeah.
All right. Well, okay. Hold on one second. Let me check for a second. I'm just curious. Okay, so on Rumble we had Phantom Monk, God Bless 5697, Angelo DD, Darren Mai, Joe Higachi, Folsom Lockdown, and Entropy Nomad, Z3 Fius, Born to Be Down, ADE, AD Ellis 24. And Phantom Monk, if you're out there, can we do a raid? Can you find some kind of vanilla thing for us to raid, Phantom Monk?
Yep, Phantom Monk's out there. I think he'll find something. Let me get over to let me get over to our YouTube list here. Of course, we did have some wonderful gifts tonight. First from Mary White, both a member of the channel and gifting 50 Price of Reason Live gift memberships. Amazing, Mary White. Thank you. Piggy in a onesie and Real Head Case, both members. Real Head Case, Piggy in a onesie becoming a member, and Real Head Case for 5 months. And then also we had Nerd Wars. Erwin was here gifting 5 Price of Reason Live gift memberships and a $3 super sticker from 6. So we appreciate all of that. Let me take a look at who all we had with us this evening in the chat. So top 50 here, Scottish Celts, Void King, Angry Sparrow, Lord Corey, Kabuki Lou, Dosdes 888, Sam D, N8E, Sam D.
Oh, sorry. I just noted that noticed that ADL is 24. It's actually from the Third Railify crew. I stopped by their channel yesterday, and
very cool.
They invited me to stop by, talk a little bit with them. Really, really nice group of people. So AD is a really nice guy. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Let's see. Lewis Berry, Jonathan Conroy, Facutino, Marla Sharondoff, Jason Webster, Darth Scipio, Jason Love, Doctor Who, Kira Runte, Jack Inc. 22, Shadow Piglet, CC Karaoke, Palm 5566, E. Clay Thomason, Gandalf identifies as white, Piggy in a onesie, Ron Donafero, Super Sumerion, Mary White, Nerd Wars, Lucy Meow, Big Sir River, Douglas Nutt, Bad Bill, Master of the TDS, Jamalama, Tim Hayes, Brian Norton, Badfoot, Captain Palsy, Trev Toon Art, Adrian Veit, Caleb Levine, Kodo Rob, Yitus, Echo 32, Echo 7, Tomahawk 511, Arturo Alejandro Trevino, Darren M, 6, Gavin Unit, and Istophobos. right, Bryce. Anything else? We're setting. Looks like Phantom Monk's got something for us to raid.
Okay, what is it?
Old West instrumental sounds to relax. Looking like
Ray,
a
let's
lo-fi
do it.
station.
Let's
Looks
do it.
like
As long as we never rated them before, let's do that.
Yep, sounds good. Phantom Monk, get us a raid going. Some lo-fi, something looks like. Yep. All right. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, everyone. If you haven't yet, please make sure that you like and subscribe, follow, repost over on Rumble, and we will see you again on Tuesday, Tuesdays and Thursdays here, 11:45 Eastern on the Night Owl.
That's right. See, I want to thank you also, Professor and Ista, and we'll see you guys here next week. Like you said, Tuesday, 11:45 p.m. Eastern, the Night Owl, and that's it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Take care,
chat.
everyone.
Bye.